DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Fafita will work out of the shotgun. Receivers left in, right. Ball almost middle of the field. Colorado moving its defense around. Snap, they'll go jet sweep around and into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. Beautiful play run there. And that is Chris Hunter, who came from one side to the other.
Chris Hunter, one of the offensive players we got a chance to talk to today, and away we go. Football has arrived. UA Football Media Day today over at the Davis Center Complex. Just a crazy day. We raced back. We've been over there since 11:30 this morning. Our Priscilla Mugwa wrapping things up as they just got finished with the availabilities today with the players, offense, defense, coaches, offense, defense. Brent Brennan had his press conference to start things off. You'll hear that in this hour in its entirety. You'll hear from the head coach, Brent Brennan, as football has arrived. Year number 18 for me covering this football program. I'll have to go and get some numbers on where this team has gone, how they are in the 17 years
how many coaches
that I've covered it. How many
coaches and how many athletic directors in that stretch?
Well, there has been. So I started with Mr. Livengood. So Mr. Livengood, then Mr. Greg Byrne, and then Dave Hickey, and now Desiree Reed-Francois, who was there today. So 4 ADs in those 17 years that I've covered this program. Head coaches started with Mike Stoops, obviously. Mike Stoops, Rich Rodriguez, Kevin Sumlin, Jed Fish, and now Brent Brennan. So 4 ADs and 5 head coaches. I get that would actually make for an interesting question of the day. Is that a lot for 17 years to have 5 head coaches and 4 ADs?
What's the
in a 17-year period?
What's the limit on games coached for an interim coach to count? Because Tim coached 6 games.
It's true he did. He did. He was an interim, though. So, yeah, I don't know that there's a number. But if you want to put him in there, we can put him. Because, yeah, six is a lot. It's more than 1. So I think and that's half a season. So I think we might give him. I probably should. Tim lives here now. I should give Tim Kish some love on that list. So 6 head coaches and 4 ADs in the time that I've been here covering this program. There's been a lot of change. Obviously, you expect in college athletics there to be a lot of change. There was a lot of continuity, though.
Think of the era.
I mean, there was a lot of continuity when you talk about. But again, and it's something we've mentioned before earlier this year. The 3 longest tenured coaches have all left in the last 4 years. When you talk about Mike Candrea, who spent over 5+ years here. When you talk about Fred Harvey, who stepped down this year, had spent half his life probably here in Tucson, coaching track and field, and Dave Rubio, who the longtime head coach of the volleyball team. So there was a lot of continuity up until the last few years, and now you've got pretty much what do we say? The longest tenured head coach now is Coach Jim Anderson.
Yeah,
with the golf team, who's been here, I believe, going on. This will be his 13th or 14th year. He's now the longest tenured head coach at the University of Arizona. And we are getting set for year number 2 of Brent Brennan running the football program. Brent was fired up. He was excited. You could hear. Got a chance to chat with him a little bit before the press conference today. He's still trying to get it. I mean, think about this. He's been here a year and a half, but he had a young son who was still in school, and so he wanted his son to finish out his senior year where they were. So they were actually kind of living in 2 places, where he was down here and his wife and son were up in Northern California. So they've got that young man graduated from high school now. You may have seen some of those pictures earlier this year that he graduated. So now they're trying to get the whole entire family down here to Southern Arizona. And I think that's probably, I mean, when you talk about just all that Brent Brennan dealt with in his first year, I mean, that alone, I mean, when you're kind of, your family's a little bit split, that takes its toll as well. So, I mean, hopefully there'll be more comfortability there from the head coach as well, and then that maybe that stressor is not on you like maybe it was in year one.
Well, we've heard so much about that. How about families keep coaches sane, right? I mean, the amount of effort and time, and especially DK in the NIL transfer portal era, where you have to recruit your own kids every single year. I mean, the amount of stress and responsibilities on a head coach. That's why they make so much money, DK. I mean, to be frank. And so having one less thing to worry about and having your family all together and all those things, I'm sure, is grounding and, will definitely make it a much smoother transition year than it would when you're worrying about people who are living 1,600 miles away.
Yeah, no question about that. No question about that. But it was good to hear from the head coach today. We'll get into his thoughts. Again, if there was a takeaway, obviously it's a lot of I don't know if there was any big, huge takeaway from today. I think maybe the biggest thing I took away from today was Danny Gonzalez, who, I've going back to last year. I've told you, man, I love listening to Danny Gonzalez talk.
Passionate.
He is a passionate coach for sure. He is really excited about the work that got done in the offseason, in the training room, in the offseason. And obviously that's something that was under a lot of scrutiny last year was the weight training program. And did that lead to some of the injuries that we saw from last year? But he was extremely excited about I think he said they've got 34 guys, offensive and defense, on the offense and defense sides of the ball, that can power clean 300 pounds. 34 guys. He said that's as impressive a number of guys that can power clean 300 pounds as he's seen in his years as a head coach.
It was interesting. Didn't he say something like 31 is the goal?
Yeah, exactly. And they've got close to 35.
And 31 is the goal for a 10-win season, I believe, is what he said. Yeah, something like that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if that translates. He also said if they get the injuries that they did last year, that they'll probably be in the same boat. So we're going to find out. I mean, and again, we went over that a lot last year. If there's a correlation between the weight training and the injuries that we saw, and I don't know that that's always the case.
It's impossible to make that conclusive.
Yeah, I've never thought that was completely the case and ever is in the game of football, although a lot of people want to tie those types of things to the weight training program. But regardless, it's good to hear that guys have gotten bigger, guys have gotten stronger, because that's going to be the big thing moving into this season. It's a team that not a lot of people are thinking a lot about, and I think that's one aspect that they're embracing. They're embracing their role of being the underdog going into this season. I think I asked one player about a certain player because one coach said that he thinks people are sleeping on this particular player. And the player's response to me when I told him what the coach said, he was like, yeah, let's just let them sleep on that.
Right. Yeah.
Let's let them sleep on that and find out on game day.
Bro, that's an entire show. That conversation between playing as the underdog mentality or playing as the front-running mentality. I mean, just look at 2023 and 2024, right? Like, they didn't have any expectations going into the 2023 season. Surprised a lot of people. High expectations last year. I mean, you can argue either way what's better or worse. I think you have to first learn to win and then be feared and then embrace that villain kind of, we're coming into onto your field and we're going to take your lunch money away from you, that whole thing. But there's nothing wrong with being overlooked because guess what? I mean, only they know, DK. Only those players know with the hours and time they've put in, how locked in they are into the schemes. So we're going to find out game one. But the players and the coaches are the only really people who really, we'll maybe get a glimpse during some of these first practices.
Yeah. Got a chance to meet Keyan Burnett, another one of the offensive line transfers. We have not talked about him in our conversations over the course of the last week plus about the new offensive lineman, but he's another guy, a transfer from Hawaii who has played in 30 games in Division I college football. And is a guy that probably is going to slot immediately into that center position, or at least into the middle part of the line. And I'm sure they may still do some tweaking and tooling down there, but he's going to be one of those middle offensive linemen, whether it's a center or guard position. But yeah, that's another guy who is bringing in a ton of experience to this offensive line. And I said yesterday, I think to me, that's the number one storyline on the offense is this line and what it's going to be and how they're going to try to run the ball better. You'll hear from Brent Brennan on that. I asked him about his comments that he made at the Big 12 Football Media Day about this team not running the ball effectively last season and what that means. If that just means, I went and looked last night, they ran the ball, astonishing number when you think of the production. They ran the ball only 60 less times last year than Jed Fish's squad had run it the year before. But I ask you, J-Dub, what do you think the yardage difference was between?
Well, I know they only had about 1,300 yards last year, so I don't remember. I do remember they were much more successful, moving the ball on the ground.
600 yards.
So 1,800.
Yes, 600 yards difference.
Yeah.
Between the year before and last year's team.
Seems like they got into
running the football.
A lot of second and longs, right?
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, and well, again, that's one of the things that Coach Brennan said today. We put ourselves into positions where teams knew we had to throw the ball, and you've got to.
As soon as the defense knows what you're about to do, you've lost half the battle, right?
Right. I heard something very interesting, and I'll have to go back and I don't remember what day I heard it, but I have to go back and see if I can find it on. It was on the Bill Writer Than You last week, and he was talking about Bill Belichick. And in the conversations that he used to have with Tom Brady, and it brought football to such a simplistic level. And one was get rid of the ball fast,
right?
Make quick decisions, and don't put us in negative plays. And that, I mean, when you think about offensive football, it's just so important, and it's one of the things that we've kind of preached about in terms of maybe the slight setback of Noah Fafita last year was that plays were taking too long. He couldn't get rid of the football, and then when he had the opportunity to get rid of the football fast, he didn't get rid of the football, and they had so many negative plays, and they were behind the chains, and you're playing, like we said, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. Too consistently in this offense, you want to get away from that. And I just thought the way that with the way that Ryder had put that his conversation with Bill Belichick, it just brought football to such a simplicity. It's like if you do these few things, you can have a successful offensive football team.
Every single play was get a tiny little slot, all league slot wide receiver, and give him the ball 2 yards away and make him do something with it. Like that was, other than the Randy Moss years. But I know for a fact, DK, that as far as Noah Fafita goes, it's really read progression that has been your biggest ask as far as things that he could work on. And I know everybody's thinking the same thing, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Noah's like without that comfort blanket out there, because clearly his entire life since 8th grade, he's had a 6'4", high pointing wide receiver that he could count on. Going through those different reads, maybe a little quicker release on the ball, and not seeing if T-Mac is going to get open eventually. We'll see what that looks like. But I'm really, really looking forward to seeing Noah's read progression this year without his buddy out in the field with him.
All right, we talked to a lot of people today. You will not hear from all of them today, but we'll try to get to some of the offensive sides as well in our show today. We're going to hear from Ishmael Mahdi. He is one of the new running backs on this team, a transfer from Texas State, brings a lot of speed, the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. So you'll hear from Ishmael Mahdi today. Josh Miller is the new tight ends coach for your Arizona Wildcats. And I want you to hear from him because we talked, one of the questions we asked to Brent Brennan, you'll hear coming up here in the press conference, was just about the return of Keyan Burnett. And we've talked to Keyan this spring. We talked to his dad about his decision to come back. And I thought Brent had some excellently strong words about that return and the way that it was handled on both sides. And I think we learned a lot about this new era of college football and how you really have to deal with these situations when young men want to maybe see if the grass is greener somewhere else.
All I can say, DK, is never burn a bridge unnecessarily because you might need to get back across it at some point.
Yeah, right. Perfectly put. Perfectly put. J.W. Madden. It's DK on the Sports Tip. We want to hear from you today. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We can dive into some of the things we talked about yesterday. We'll continue our conversation about the WNBA. If you we'll have some comments on that, so we'll read you.
There is good news.
Oh, is there
Cameron
good news?
Brink is back. She's been out. She only played 15 games in her rookie year,
right.
but I just read that she's going to be back this week.
All right, Cameron Brink, bringing more talent back to the league. Star out of Stanford. We saw her a whole lot.
Yeah, that's like
her career.
The Curry's goddaughter, right?
Yeah, something like that. That family is very tight, for sure. So you hear from Josh Miller on having Keyan Burnett back in his room, but Brent Brennan and his press conference, we'll have that for you straight ahead. DK on the Sports Tip. A Dragon Ball is in for cricket. He'll have you getting home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. We do have a crash in the median of I-10 westbound near South Houghton Road, milepost 275, as well as an incident with injuries reported over at North Thornydale Road and West Horizon Hills Drive. This is just north of Costco, so prepare for some backup here in both those spots. For your weather, we're still at 104 degrees. We're going to stay that way until we drop out of the hundreds here closer to 8 o'clock. I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Aleve. Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier automotive destination in town. Explore the new 2025 Honda models and extensive collection of pre-owned vehicles. Experience no-hassle financing and our no-haggle one-price selection. Visit AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall today.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wow, this is bad.
Oh, no. How bad? When will my AC be fixed?
I don't know. It's your flux capacitor. They don't make them anymore. Special order. Couple grand easy.
Oh, my God. What?
Don't get air-conned into paying for shoddy service and stuff you don't need. Put Goodfellas on the job. Goodfellas AC will repair or install your AC the right way the first time. You'll know up front exactly what it'll cost and how long it'll take. No surprises and free second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Ugh, kitchen ants, runaway roaches, a spider. A spider! Relax, just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other bug types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
Hey, it's DK on the Sports Tip. Don't miss a minute of the best Arizona Wildcats coverage in town. Tell your Alexa device to play Wildcats Radio 1290. This is your home of Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Please do interact with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on everything that we talk about on this program. From the Diamondbacks, who lost last night again, 5-1. They've scored, one run in 4 games? 2 runs in 4 games now. To the labor strife.
Who's counting?
Exactly. And Gino got hit on the hand again. Oh, my God.
That one he reacted to quite a bit.
Yeah. It happened in the All-Star game. I mean, come on. Like, you can hit a guy in the All-Star game.
Not to change the subject to a somber thing, but what if there are Cubs fans out there that want to call it?
Absolutely. Ryan Sandberg will have some thoughts on that, having gone to high school in Illinois, Central Illinois, during the 1984 year where the Cubs went to the ALCS. So we'll get to that, the loss of Ryan Sandberg, and obviously the tragedy that took place in New York City as well yesterday with the shooting that cost 5 people their lives, including a police officer by a young man, former football player who said that he had CTE or believed that he had CTE.
What a story, man.
Yeah, it's just
wrong elevator.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we've all been in hotels and buildings that have multiple banks of elevators to get up to different places, and yeah, I mean, just the Lord was definitely looking out for some people yesterday, but unfortunately, some lost their lives as well. So we'll get into that as we move forward. If you want to talk about that as well. 520-848-1290. We do want to hear, though, from the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Brent Brennan, who spoke today to open up the 2025 Arizona football season.
How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. Thank you for coming. I've got a couple personnel updates for everybody real quick, just so everybody's on the same page. Peter Lange, Zach Siulepa, and Ezra Funa, we're still working through their academic process. We're optimistic that they'll be here, but just want to let you guys know that they're not here yet. Mike Mitchell's no longer with the football team, but in terms of what we're doing today, we're bringing back the guys that are here and the guys that want to be here, players, coaches, staff, and everybody in between. We're excited about that. Our second year at the University of Arizona, building our program here, and from day one when the season ended last year, it has been all about attacking this offseason, attacking this process. And so for us, what that looked like, it started out with retention of our players, then portal, staff. So there's a lot in that. And then that went to the offseason and building momentum through winter conditioning, building momentum through spring practice, building momentum through spring recruiting, building momentum through summer workouts. And that's where we are now today, right? We're at the start of fall camp. I love where this team is at. I love the effort and the intention, the work they've done with Coach Carroll and our strength and conditioning staff over the last 7 months, the work they've done with our new coaches and the coaches on the staff that were here a year ago. I'm extremely excited about, and I think everybody's just ready to get to work. We're not looking in the rear view, we're looking forward. We're moving forward as a football program, and today we get to start keeping score, and we're excited about that.
All right, if you wouldn't mind, raise your hand if you have questions. I'll call on you. We have 2 wireless mics we'll bring to you. We'll start with Justin up here in front.
Hold on, Justin.
Good to see you, Brent. So the offseason, building up the roster, building up the coaching staff, what do you think was the most significant part to that process?
Well, I'd say it's both things. I think when you go through a tough season like we did a year ago, you got to find a way to fix what was broken, fix what wasn't working, and then put those pieces together. And part of those pieces are how we're going to do things in terms of how we're going to coach, what we're going to do schematically. And then the other part of those things are who are the players that are going to play those roles, right? And so we've added more players to a roster than I've ever been a part of this offseason, and also more staff transition than I've ever been a part of. But credit to the new coaches, credit to the new players, and then also credit to our current roster members. Those guys have really helped help the new people understand what our Bear Down Brotherhood is all about and how we're going to do business day in and day out, what our culture is and how we're going to live. And that part of it has been really fun to see.
Hey, Coach.
What's up?
Does your approach or mentality change in this fall camp as opposed to last year with it being your first one?
I would say it's definitely different. My approach, does it change wholeheartedly? No, because I still believe at the end of the day, football is about blocking, tackling, having the right people in the right places and executing at a high level and playing harder than everybody that you compete against. You know, that being said, did I come at this offseason with a different mindset than last season? Absolutely. The circumstances were way different, right? Like this was a much more, in terms of putting the team together and building it, it was much more in what I thought we needed here at the U of A. And so we're kind of in the, we've been on the job for, I think, 19 months now, or maybe a little bit less than that. And so when you look at that, how do you get the right people in the right seats on the bus? How do you get the right players to fit the schemes that you're going to run and execute in? And that's what we've been doing. And so, like, my mindset or my approach hasn't necessarily changed because I still think everything has to be process-driven. Because last year we killed ourselves with outcome focus. But that can't be who we are now. We have to be worried about today. What is the compliance meeting going to be like this afternoon? We're going to kick ass in that meeting, right? Then we're going to move on to the next meeting, and we're going to dominate that meeting. And we're going to focus on all these small parts as we build our program day in and day out through training camp so that when we get to the Hawaii game, we will have incredible momentum and be ready to attack that moment at that time.
We'll go to Brad and then Justin next.
Hi, Coach. Brad Sussmat, Sports 360 from Phoenix. Good to see you. What do you like most about your team on the field coming into camp? What concerns you most about your team coming into training camp on the field?
I would say what I like most about where we're at is I think we made huge strides in grasping scheme changes in all three phases, right? When you bring in 3 new coordinators, that's a lot of new learning, and I love how the players have just attacked that, throughout the offseason, throughout the spring practice, just how intentional they've been about understanding and being able to apply what that new scheme is going to look like in offense, defense, and special teams. I think what concerns me, I don't know that it concerns me, but like the things we have to figure out, we have to figure out who those pieces are going to be in the special teams because we've had so much of a roster overhaul. We got to figure out who are going to be the guys that are going to run down on kickoff, right? We got to find out, can we hit it out of the end zone every time like we did with last year with Tyler Loop, right? We had a real benefit with that. I think we got to figure out what the rotation is going to look like in the offensive line because there's a lot of new pieces there. Then overall, we got to do a great job of developing our depth so that when we do have somebody get nicked, we have a chance for somebody to step in there and execute at a high level and give us a chance to win football games.
2 questions, Coach.
The double question this early, and we're just getting started.
The competition at center, what did those guys show you, and what did you see out of DeCambra?
Well, I think that's going to be a fun thing to watch, right? Because obviously Grayson has a lot of experience, but I also think KD is a guy that's played multiple spots in the offensive line, right? He's a big athletic kid. He's a tough physical kid, which you like that. And then he's also smart, and I think that position has to be one of your most intelligent players. I think they have to manage so much from the center position. And so that's going to be one of those battles that's going to be fun to watch.
And as far as interior guys go, with Siolepa and Funa still working through some things, who are some other guys as interior linemen that could step up in the offseason or in the
defensive line?
Yeah, the interior guys.
Yeah. I think you're going to love seeing there's been so many additions up there. I think McKnight is going to be something that's going to be fun to watch. I think that started to show up in spring practice. And as you go, Trey Smith is kind of the guy that's everybody's seen and everybody talks about, and he has flexibility to move inside and outside. But I think with what Coach Gonzalez is going to do, you're going to see a really aggressive, attacking movement style front. And so those pieces are going to be a little bit more interchangeable than maybe what they have been in the past, where you're like, okay, we're going to line up in an odd or even front, and this guy's playing a 4-eye or a shade, and he's holding the A gap. It's going to be a little bit different. So I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Besides quarterback, how many positions would you say right now starting you have locked down? And are you concerned with the lack of those?
That's a really tough question. That is a really I don't have a good answer for you on that. I really don't. I think the most important thing, with like how we're getting ready for fall camp is that there's competition, right? So sometimes you might say, hey, this guy's ahead of this guy on the staff, but we're like, we need this guy to push this guy. So we're not going to tell this guy that he's the starter. Does that make sense? Right? Like sometimes you don't want to award a guy that because will he stay motivated? Will he continue to attack the work in a way you need him to? Right? So we're trying to make sure that every position on the team, including quarterback, feels the pressure of competition in the practice environment.
Hey, Coach. In the transfer portal era where players can go to another school without having to sit out like they used to in the past, does that change in any way the way you coach and manage freshmen who are just starting their careers out in college?
I don't think so, because I think being a freshman player there's a developmental process to getting good at college football. Now, the hard part for all these freshmen is that they were the man last year, wherever they were, right? They were the best player on their high school team. They were the best player in their district. They were the best player in their state, whatever that was. Like, they're all super high-level kids, right? But there's a developmental part to getting ready to play on this level, playing the Big 12. And one of the things that I tell the freshmen every year, and it's amazing because some will listen and some won't, is if you know what to do, you'll have a chance to play. Like if you just know what to do. And because the scheme, normally the playbook is expanded in all three phases, right? The detail, the technique has been elevated in all three phases. And so if those players will listen to that and really dive into knowing what to do, their job responsibility in special teams or offense or defense, those freshmen will have a chance to play, right? And if a freshman is good enough to help us win football games, he's going to play. We're going to put him out there.
Hey, Coach, two questions from me as well. Just to kind of follow on what Michael said there, we're in an era now, obviously, where guys can leave, established guys can leave and come back, like we saw with Keyan Burnett. What was your assessment of the Keyan situation? How did you handle that? And obviously, he's a guy that leaves here as your number one tight end. Does he come back as your number one tight end, or is there a process for him to work his way back into that position?
There's 6 questions in there, so I'll try to answer each one. Okay. First of all, when Keyan told me that he was interested in exploring that, I was respectful of it. I think it's important that I'm respectful of that. It's their option to do it. And so if I'm a jerk, there's no way we're getting him back, right? If I handle that moment poorly, there's no way he's going to want to come back and play for a team that I'm the head coach of, right? I love Keyan. I told him that when I said, I'm sad you're leaving. I love you, and if things change, let us know. And things changed, and we had a chance for him to come back to us, right? And I think the cool thing about that is at the end of the day, he chose the University of Arizona, and he chose the players and the coaches in this program. He chose that because he believes in that. He missed that. He missed how that felt. He missed what that experience had been for him. And that's why he chose to come back. Now, does he walk back in the door, tight end 1? Like, probably not at the start of spring practice, right? Because there's other players there that are making really great that were making really great progress. I'm sorry, at the start of fall practice. But is he going to be in the mix? Is he going to be at the front of the line? Sure. And that's one of those positions where the competition is going to be fierce because there's some players in there. Tyler Powell's made a great move this offseason, really impressive move, right? And then we know Sam Olsen is a productive player, right? So we know that there's good stuff there. And then we know there's some young players stepping in there. We want to see what he can do too. So it's good. That's going to be a lot of fun.
And some of these veteran offensive linemen you've been able to add, like DeCamber, like Bounds, like Buchanan, do you find it easier maybe to get experienced linemen in the portal than maybe it was before?
No. It's our general manager's back there. He's laughing right now at my answer to that question. I would say outside of quarterback, offensive line is the hardest position to recruit out of the portal. It is the hardest one. It has the most competition. It is the most intense. The hard part about it is for some people, like the guys you mentioned, we're recruiting them to come in here and compete for a starting job right now. A lot of the young men that are entering the portal as an offensive lineman, they don't know that they're getting recruited to another school to go be a backup. They don't know that because, someone on the other side of that equation is not telling them the truth, right? But those guys, we're expecting them to compete for a job.
Brent Brennan, head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, talking about Keyan Burnett. If I had been a jerk, then we're definitely not getting him back. And that's how you have to coach nowadays. That's what I thought that was a great answer by Brent Brennan. I told him I loved him. I told him I was disappointed that he was leaving, but I've got to accept that this is where we are. This is how it works now. And if things change, let us know. And things changed, and you got a pretty heck of a good tight end back in the building because of the way you handled that situation, because you didn't get upset like a lot of us did. A lot of us get upset when these players leave. And that's why guys like Brent Brennan are coaching. I mean, I was one of them. I was upset. But that's why guys like Brent Brennan are coaching and guys like me are on the radio, because he understands how he has to handle that situation. And if he gets upset, then not only does he not get Keyan Burnett back, but Keyan Burnett might start talking to other guys. And now nobody wants to come. I'm not going to go there. I don't want to go play for Brent Brennan because, he might get upset if I decide I don't want to be there. Or, that's you got to be. And I think that was one of the other common things we heard. And I think even Danny Gonzalez said that. Guys care. Maybe it might have been one of the players. I talked to so many guys, I can't remember who said what today.
It's a blur.
Exactly. Said guys are here because they want to play for Brent Brennan. And that's one of the reasons why, because he's a straightforward kind of dude.
I think you just described the Makovich era.
There you go.
Players talk.
Exactly.
To each other.
Players talk to each other. DK on the Sports Tip. We'll hear the rest of Brent Brennan straight ahead. Dragon Ball's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. We have an accident at El Camino del Cerro and North Silverdale Road causing a lot of backup in all directions as you approach the cross streets there. And the westbound I-10 Irvington off-ramp remains closed. Traffic can still exit westbound I-10 using either Alvarado Way or Ajo Kino instead there. For your weather, still at 104 degrees. We'll be dropping down all the way to about 93 for the low here tonight around 9 p.m. I'm Dragon Ball with Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. If you want way more food for way less dollars, you've got it with Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes. From classics to favorites to new items like the Crispy Chicken Burrito. Get more for less. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores, which vary. Limited time. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
So hot. Hi, can I help you? Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team. But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, good fellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
The Red Sox could not have handled this any worse, nor was Devers ever going to go on Mookie Betts with it and say, I'll do whatever you need. So, the Red Sox, knowing they had a player that didn't want to be there, saw a way to get out from underneath a $250 million commitment and pulled the trigger like the Moneyball team that they have become. Shocking, and then at the same time, not shocking at all.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, will arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right. What's right? What the singing people just said.
Gary, you have your earbuds in. I don't know what you're hearing.
Oh, this.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, will arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right.
Hi, guys. What's right? That I have my earbuds in. No, you don't.
We were listening to the singing people.
Maybe I should go out and come back in again.
It's the thing about how we arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Oh, right. It's the Alaskan AC guarantee, so people aren't left waiting for a repairman. Don't we have singing people for that? Yes. Here, use my earbuds. Gross.
Just play it, Gary.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, will arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right.
I know, right?
Right. I'm glad we had this meeting.
AlaskanAC.com.
This is Andrew Bogish with a Sports Minute. The amount of money Bryce Harper makes does not prevent him from pushing back against the baseball salary cap. Nor is Harper's salary, or that of Shohei Ohtani or Juan Soto, baseball's biggest problem. If the owners in Pittsburgh or Miami or anywhere else don't want to spend to win, fix that first, long before you ask players to give back a single dollar for the good of the game. I'm Andrew Bogish.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Speed rush to the line. Fafita will take the snap. Straight back to throw. They pick up the blitz. Looking deep. Going deep. Trying to find McMillan. Comes back for the ball. Makes the catch at the Oklahoma 44-yard line. Wow. All you can say, T-Mac, wow.
For For the first time in a long time, Noah Fafita will enter a football season where he is not going to be playing with the guy that can make dramatic catches like that. Tetairoa McMillan on to the National Football League. He and Noah had been teammates going back to, before I think they were even 12 years old.
8th grade, I think is what he said.
Playing in high school and then playing here for 3 seasons at the University of Arizona. And so it's going to be a different type of year for Noah Fafita from that standpoint. Let's hear more from the head coach, Brent Brennan, about how Noah is going to need to adjust not having Tetairoa McMillan as his security blanket this year.
I think that's one of those questions that I've been getting a lot this summer. How are you going to replace T-Mac? And you don't. You don't replace a player like that. You know what I mean? He's that talented. He's that special. Now, do I think that we have more people in that room that can contribute this year than we did last year? I do. And that was part of the offseason. Number one, early in the season last year, I said to Coach Wade, we have to get faster at receiver. That was an absolute mantra. I was driving that so hard. And like you said, in the receiver space, I can be a little bit of a hard ass because that's my thing. And so we needed more people to even that out, because what we felt so much last year with T-Mac was that people were able to push so much coverage to him. And it made it much more challenging to distribute the football, to attack every, you want to be able to attack every space on the field, right? And we weren't able to do that effectively. And so I think the people that we added in that room, the combination of speed and also production, gives us a chance to feel great about that receiver room going forward. We'll go Troy and then back to Justin.
You kind of talked about it in terms of the depth that you guys were able to add. How do you feel about the depth at the offensive line and compared to last year at this time, just the bodies that you have in the room?
We feel good, but I'll tell you this, everybody feels good about the depth at the offensive line at the start of training camp. You know what I mean? Like that's that part of it. But I do think those guys have worked extremely hard this offseason. I think Coach Carroll and his staff have done a great job physically preparing them. Our training staff has done an incredible job getting them ready for just what is coming. And so that part of it, then we got to be smart in the practice environment, but we also got to get the work done, right? That's the thing. That is the rub that every college coach struggles with this time of year. How do we get the desired physicality in practice that we need to be game ready and keep our team safe at the same time, right? That's the $1 million question that everybody is working through.
Last year, do you feel like Noah in some cases was force-feeding T-Mac the ball, and do you feel like now that he's no longer here, that and in a new offense, that he'll be able to distribute the ball a little bit more and start reading more?
I said at the press conference, I think where Noah was at last year, that was my fault, that we didn't put enough speed on the field to help offset the triple coverage going to T-Mac. And then I also felt like when we went through some of the injury stuff, that put him in a situation where he didn't have time. So force feeding T-Mac the ball, number one, to me is not necessarily the worst idea because he's such a good player, but it was also a little bit of an outlet or a little bit of a security blanket for him, right? Because there were times where he was running for his life. But I think I'm confident with what we're going to do with our new offense, where the ball is going to be distributed. The ball is going to be out of his hand. There's going to be enough variety and variation of people that he can distribute the ball to that gives us a chance to move the football the way we want to.
Just kind of following up on that, no matter where the blame lies, I think it's fair to say that Noah did develop some bad habits last year as a quarterback. In your experience as a coach, how hard is it to shed bad habits and develop good habits?
Well, I think for him, just watching him practice over, the last spring practice and just kind of the steps he made, the relationship he has with Coach Deggy, the chemistry that he's building with this new group of receivers and kind of all the other pieces, the tight ends and the running backs. Noah is so diligent. I don't worry about that at all. That's not a concern for me. If he was lazy, if he was not a player that worked every day, that studied film every day, that found every second of every day to work at getting better at football, then I'd be concerned. But he is one of the most conscientious, diligent workers I've ever seen, and he'll blow through all that stuff. you're going to love the way he looks when he starts playing this fall. It's going to be fun.
At what point during camp do you want to move from still working on the fundamentals because you have to adapt all these new players that came in the summer and getting into the actual, like, not so much the plan for Hawaii, but just like the overall scheme of the offense and defense and everything?
No, that'll happen tomorrow. Like, we'll get right into that. Like, every practice will be kind of broken up, like, this part, fundamental technique, right? And then push into, 7-on-7, O-line, D-line working together, and then team. So that'll happen fast.
Obviously, you brought in quite a few transfers. You have guys like Tia Savea, for instance, you've seen what he can do at this level, and then you have a guy like, say, Chance Roberts, who is at Albany. How do you assess and say, okay, a guy from a smaller school is likely to be successful here? Is it something that you also just have to kind of see in practice?
Yes to both questions. I think, the beauty of that with some of those guys is that we had them here in spring. And so, or not Chance, but some of the other guys from smaller schools, we had them here in spring so we can get to see how they look competing against us. You know what I mean? And I think I mentioned it before, but one of our focuses in the transfer portal was just finding players that had played meaningful snaps. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of those hard things where some people are like, so-and-so, this 4-star from some school is, they got him and he's never played, right? And he might have a high ceiling, but he's never played. And so where is he on that journey of development that I was talking about earlier, right? He might be on step 1. So now he might be just like a freshman, but he's going into his last year or second to last year. But someone who has played, like Riley Wilson, who's played a ton of snaps, there's an incredible value in the amount of snaps that he's played because you learn as you play. And, playing in the games is the best teacher there is.
Brent Beck here. So last year you said that you guys killed yourselves being outcome focused and that now it sounds as if you have a little more tunnel vision staying in the moment. Why zero in on being outcome focused and recognizing that that was something that needed to change or alter?
Well, I think because, as we got into it, it was, whether it was a single drill, whether it was in the practice environment, whether it was in a game, like even the games that we won didn't feel good to the players. We didn't win by enough. We didn't play well enough on this side of the ball. We didn't play well enough, right? And that part of it, I think, was just watching them go through that. And then when we did lose a game, it was incredibly devastating. Working with our team, talking with our team, trying to pull us out of the funk that put us in, just because we've been so focused on something so far down the road. And so how do we pull us back to the only way to get right is by doing the work that is required right now. And so trying to keep pulling us back. And so the great thing about this team is, and this offseason has been how they've attacked the work, how they've attacked the, I'm not just talking about football. We had the highest team GPA in the history of Arizona football this last semester. They're on it, all parts of it, right? And that's what I'm talking about, being focused on the process, that process of development. Because when I watch them go through that with Beyond Football, with Tobrook Blaine, all parts of our program are firing on all cylinders because these players are so committed to each other and they're so committed to the process.
Hey, Coach Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ. How is this running back room unique to some of the other running back rooms you've had in the past?
Well, I think it's deep with explosive and exciting players. I think that's one of those battles that everyone's excited to see kind of work its way, in fall camp. Obviously, each guy brings a little different skill set and a little bit different experience to the table. Everybody from KD, who obviously was a solid player for us a year ago and has just had a great offseason. But then when you go back to, Ishmael, who was a super productive player at his last stop, Quincy, who was also a really productive player at his last stop, and then you have Korn, who just came off winning a state championship in Texas. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch them compete and get after it.
And just to follow on that question from Jordan, you said it Big 12 Media Day that you felt like you didn't run the ball well enough to take some of that pressure off of Noah last year. How much of that is a numbers thing, like you didn't run it enough in each game? How much of that was an effectiveness thing, like if we had run it at the same amount of numbers, we just have to run it more effectively than we did?
Yeah, I would agree with you. It is about effectively running it. And I think that part of it, some of that happened to us because of the injury and the inconsistency of like who we were playing with in the offensive front, but also think that that's one of those things that you also need to stick with. And in some of those situations, we were chasing points, or we were in a bad situation. We felt like we had to throw it to get out of it. And when you do that, it makes it hard because your opponent knows that you're dropping back to pass, right? Like that part of it. And so trying to keep people off balance with a more consistent, a more efficient run game is a huge focus for us. And I think we're in a good spot to do it with the running back room and with the players up front.
The injury thing last year, how do you look at that? And do you feel like it almost could be like a blessing in disguise in some way because it brings back Traden Stukes, Jack Luttrell gets those kind of reps? Do you feel like that helps you out for this year?
Well, I think anytime a player gets hurt or injured, like someone else has to step up and take advantage of that opportunity. And I felt like there were several players that did that last season. Obviously, when we were going through that, we just went through an incredibly deep dive and we talked about this, 10 months ago with our training staff, with our team doctors, with our strength conditioning staff about, what that was. And that's also one of those things that football's a tough game. And sometimes injuries are just part of it. And as heartbreaking as they are, when it happens, it's an opportunity for someone else to step up. And that's why what I mentioned earlier, the development of our depth during training camp is so critical. That we get guys lots of reps and that we get guys lots of experience right now and get guys competing at a high level and feeling that pressure or competition in their position group so that they're ready if there is something like that unfortunate to happen.
2 questions.
Here we go.
Yep. So I think you have 20 offensive linemen on your roster right now, and as you mentioned, a couple JUCO defensive tackles aren't here yet and their status is kind of up in the air. Could you envision a scenario where you're maybe moving some offensive linemen to defensive line at some point if the numbers sort of dictate that?
I think that's always based on a situation, like normally that's like a catastrophe. So I'm like I really don't want that. You know what I mean? It's not, but yeah, I mean, I think that you do that, like whatever it takes to win a game. So like if there's someone that can help us in that space, absolutely.
And the way you've structured training camp, I know you're probably doing more stuff than what we get access to, but this kind of like morning, night off, morning, night off. What was the basis for structuring it that way?
The biggest thing is because we play all our games at night in that stadium, and so we wanted our players to be exposed to just playing in there, what that feels like, the lights, the heat, all of it. And so and we didn't do that a year ago. And I think after the first game, I talked about it with Ben Thenis and some of the other coaches, like, hey, man, we need to practice in the stadium at night. So.
Go back to Jordan for our final question.
What sort of benefits have you seen for Noah going through the Manning Passing Academy experience?
I think it's really, really an incredible honor that he was invited. And I think just talking to him, the experience is exciting because when you go through that, you realize that you get to see yourself head to head with these other players. And I think for Noah, I think it was validation that I throw it just as good as all these other guys. All these other players that everyone's talking about, I rip it just as good as them because he does.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody.
Bear down.
All right, that was the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Brent Brennan. A lot to digest in there. We'll get to that next hour. We're also going to hear today from Josh Miller, the new tight ends coach. We'll dive into his thoughts on the return of Keyan Burnett and how he's handling it. Keyan Burnett is obviously in his tight end room. We'll also hear from running back Ishmael Mahdi, who arrives from Texas State. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Traffic light malfunction reported over at West Anklam Road and West St. Mary's Road. Most of the slowing on Anklam as you approach that three-way stop. And we also have an incident with property damage over at North Palm Grove Drive and West Roger Road. This is west of Fairview, so prepare some backup there on Roger as you drive through. Still at 104 degrees, and we're going to stay that way as it will continue to stay at 104 all the way through 5. I'm Dragon Ball with you, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Payday. Hardworking people need a hardworking candy bar. Packed with peanuts and filled with golden caramel, Payday is definitely working hard for you. So grab one now to power you through the day. Payday Peanut Caramel Bar. Get to it.
Nobody covers your Cats like we do.
Touchdown, Arizona!
With press conferences, coaches shows, and play-by-play, we bring you all the stories, highlights, and analysis of your Arizona Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up with science.
You mean they don't use yesterday's newspaper?
No, they use the latest in technology and innovation to eliminate bugs, bees, termites, weeds, and more.
So no as seen on TV salt guns?
Nope, only solutions that target insect biology, using chemistry to help protect the environment, people, and their pets.
You are so smart.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
It may only be summer, but Arizona football can't get here soon enough.
Rosano got a hole inside the 40, jumps to the left of the 30, down to the 25 to the 20, still going.
Catch Kendrick Risano and the Cats all season long right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
It's time to talk Grizzly.
The air conditioner made specifically for Arizona summers.
Alaskan AC introduced the Grizzly a couple years ago, and the reviews are pouring in.
This one says, I love how quiet it is. I can hardly hear it come on, but I'm always comfortable.
Another person writes, finally an air conditioner that can withstand the desert heat and dust.
This one says, I like its fluffy fur and cute black nose.
Anyway, if it's time to upgrade your AC, you can't do better than the Grizzly.
Only available at Alaskan AC.
People love it.
Like this person who said, we live in an older home and the Grizzly keeps us comfortable in every room.
Or this guy, we live just outside of town and the dust is horrible. Glad we have an AC that can take it.
Or this one, he's so cuddly and has these adorable pads on his paws.
Gary, I think you're on a different webpage.
Gary, I think you're different.
Learn more about the Grizzly at alaskanac.com.
The best place to get all the news and highlights of your Arizona Wildcats.
That throws to the back of the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Arizona.
We are Wildcats Radio 1290 KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media station.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Did we end our 162 bet season with BetMGM Network with a win? Of course not.
Back-to-back doubles for the Orioles. And now Laureano. 5-iron to deep left. Way gone! Little by little, the Orioles are going to knock another Blue Jay reliever out of the game. Laureano jumps back into a tie for the team lead with his 15th home run. And they're pouring it on in the fifth. Their third 3-run inning of the night.
It's almost so funny how we couldn't win anything this year. Jays last night on the money line over the Orioles, and Baltimore kicked their butt. 11-4 was the final. So we finished this 162 bet season at 75-87, 12 games under 500, or 12 bets under 500, and $224.99 in the hole.
So that was a doubleheader made up from rain delay in April, I think. And DK, it was actually 27-8 is what they outscored.
Oh, jeez. In those two games?
In those two games, yeah.
Wow.
11-4 and 16-4.
Wow. So we had two bets last night. Our first bet of the second half now, this was the Mets on the money line over the Padres. So are we off to a good start in our new 162 bet season? We are not.
I'm Ryan Horvath, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. We're just over a month away from the start of the college football season. Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers have a favorable schedule and a healthy, hungry Garrett Nussmeier. I think that the Tigers are in prime position to take the SEC at plus 750 as a long shot. I'm Ryan Horvath. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so we talked a little bit about Garrett Nussmeier yesterday, but let me get back to what I was saying about last night's game. Our first bet of the new season came from last night, and that was the Mets on the money line over the Padres. Well, that did not work out for us, as the Padres, in fact, walked off the Mets to win that game last night in San Diego by a score of 7-6. So the Padres get the win there. So we're off to a 0-1 start in our new season of the BetMGM Network Top Plays. I'm praying this is going to be a better season, but not off to a good start. We have two for you coming up tonight. Do we have the first of those two, J-Dub, for tonight? Right,
I'm Michael Jenkins, helping you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. We're taking the Astros on the money line in Arizona against the D-backs, and we love this pitching matchup for the Stros because anytime Framber Valdez is on the mound, he's worth betting on. 10-4, 2.75 ERA. It'll be Eduardo Rodriguez for the D-backs, who is 3-6 with a 5.94 ERA. But the Astros are a buzzsaw with Valdez. They have won his last 12 straight starts. Take the Astros on the money line. I'm Michael Jenkins from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter, beat the books, and download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
All right, so that wasn't the one we were looking for. This is the one we're looking for. Third time's a
Let's
charm.
bet some baseball Tuesday night. I'm Sammy Pete, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. I'm not a big favorites player, but the right one should get bet, and I make the Dodgers with Glass now about minus 180 tonight. That market a lot cheaper. Let's go minus 150 Dodgers at BetMGM. I'm Sammy Pete from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. And please, gamble responsibly.
All right, there we go. We got the Dodgers. This game is starting here in about 2 minutes. We just beat the deadline on that. But if you want to get this play in now, you better go to the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook and get it in right now. Dodgers on the money line over the Reds. Dodgers on the road at Great American Ballpark right now. That's at minus 150. So your $12.90 bet is going to get you back $8.77 if you take Tyler Glasnow. We've also got a game coming up here in about 30 minutes in Minneapolis at Target Field. Take the Twins on the money line over the Red Sox in the first 5 innings at minus 105 right now. The Twins are going to send out a young pitcher by the name of, what is this young man's name? Pearson Ole. Pearson Ole is going to start tonight. Lucas Giolito will be on the mound for the Red Sox, and although he's had a pretty good year, Lucas Giolito, he's 6-2 with a 3.97 ERA. He has not been good in his last 9 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 9 earned runs on 11 hits, so Lucas has been struggling. So the play tonight, Twins on the money line in the first 5 over the Red Sox at minus 105. Your $12.90 bet will bring you back $12.38. All right, let's get to your Diamondbacks download because this game has started already in Detroit.
Diamondback download.
Baseball time. Yes. All right. Diamondbacks leading the Tigers by a score of 1-0. Hey, we've scored a run early tonight. Just 2 runs in the last 4 games.
Yeah, but then they left the bases loaded.
So there you go. Ketel Marte, that's good for me. Ketel Marte with an RBI single. Although my fantasy team is going nowhere. We stink now. At one point, my fantasy team was in 2nd place, and now we're in 7th place. And I'm like, how many games under 500 am I?
Well, the Guardians and Diamondbacks are underperforming, right?
Yeah, I'm 26 games under 500. We all know what happened with my closer, Emmanuel Clase, who's now...
Maybe people don't know.
Yeah, well, he is the latest to be taken out of the game due to the gambling investigation surrounding another pitcher, Luis Ortiz, on the Guardians roster. And so now it is claimed Emmanuel Clase, who may have been throwing some first pitches outside the strike zone, much like Ortiz was.
Yeah, I mean, the like over under 5 inning thing makes sense to me. But if you allow people to bet on whether or not the first pitch will be a strike or a ball, DK, that just opens yourself up to a lot of really undersided things happening behind the scenes where the player then can thereby dictate. That's basically fixing a boxing match, right? So if they're found, I mean, we saw Pete Rose bet on his own team and get banned for life. And obviously betting's a huge part of sports these days. Professional sports, they have a lot of corporate synergy between that. But if you're intentionally fixing a bet like that, DK, in a professional sports league, in live action in games that count, that's not good. We'll see when the investigation wraps up and what actually comes out about it. But if it is true that pitchers are throwing balls intentionally so that their buddies can make money, that's a problem.
All right, Eugenio Suarez is not in the lineup tonight. Hit again by a pitch. Let's hear from Gino. This was after last night's game, J-Dub?
Correct.
After the game, correct. Let's hear from Gino after the game on the latest hit by pitch that he suffered.
I got a touch in my finger, and I mean, a good thing right now is we do the X-ray, and was negative, but we got more tests to do maybe tomorrow, and right now, you know, it's painful, obviously, but the good news, like I say, is the X-ray was negative. See after tomorrow what else, you know, they're gonna do, and but right now I will do my best to try back soon. I don't know how to get it on that finger. That was straight to my hand. I feel really painful, right? I thought something was breaking, but thanks God it doesn't right now. What I have right now is everything was negative, so see how they feel tomorrow and the next days. It's crazy. I don't know. I got so many hit by pitch in my hand so far right this year. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what did they try to do, but it's something out of my control. You know, I just try to be on the field, not hurt nobody. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what's going on right now, but good thing is I'll be back soon. I couldn't, because when Ryan, the trainer, come back and he touched it right there, the pain was so bad, and I feel so painful right after that I got the hit by pitch. That's why I came out to the game real quick because I know I can do it because it was painful a lot, and my knee was blown.
We're joined now by the third member of our program, Dragon Ball. I gotta believe. Look, if you're trading Gino Suarez, I'm not playing him in any more games. I mean, you can't risk that. You can't risk if this guy, if pitchers are going to continue to throw inside on him like this, and there's this risk that he could end up on the IL, and now you can't trade him for prospects for the future. I just don't believe that we see. I think we've seen Gino Suarez play his last game. If he gets traded, I don't think he plays again for the Diamondbacks.
No, he's had a pretty solid start to the second half of the season, so his value is very high right now. Now, granted, if you're the Diamondbacks, you would love to see him go ahead and actually be able to take some of those pitches inside, maybe do a little bit more of a pull and be able to work that side of the plate and say, see, look, now he's working the inside now, huh? He's really good. How many prospects you think he's worth now? But right now, you can't run the risk of him getting hurt in the process of trying to prove a point. You don't want to have that happen.
Well, what happened was in the fourth, he barely missed a curveball, I think it was, or a changeup. And he barely missed it and yelled. Did you see that play in the fourth inning? I've never seen that, DK. He screamed because he just barely missed it. So the reason he's getting pitched so much inside is because, what does he have, like 35 home runs? He's really seeing the ball well right now. So trying to keep him off the play a little bit.
It's just crazy. It's crazy that he's been hit that many times this season. But again, when you got 36 home runs, guys are trying to do anything they can to get you off the plate, to keep you off the plate and keep you off balance. And unfortunately for Gino, he's taken a few on the hands this year for that. Luis Perdomo has driven in a run with the sacrifice fly. Diamondbacks with an early now two runs today. 2 runs. Break up the Diamondbacks. 2 runs in one game. They lead the Tigers by a score of 2-0 in the top of the second. All right, much more Arizona Wildcats football coming up for you as well. We're going to hear from Josh Miller. We're going to hear from Ishmael Mahdi coming up on the show today. Dragon Ball is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. We have an incident with property damage over at North La Cañada Drive and West Ina Road. Majority of the slowing here on both sides of Ina and northbound La Cañada as you get to that 4-way intersection there. And just a reminder, westbound I-10 on and off ramps at Sunset are still closed until later on this year due to the I-10 Ina to Ruthroff Improvement Project. Now, for your weather, still at 104 degrees. We're going to stay that way until we eventually get to about 8 o'clock tonight, where we'll finally start dipping out of the triple digits here later on today. I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
What up, Mario Lopez here? And you know, I love me a throwback like the Staples Easy button. It's back and bringing more easy than ever. Custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. Yeah, Staples, that was easy.
It's DK on the sports tip. Did you hear what we were talking about? The kids who actually have the money to go out there and play tennis. Why haven't we produced any of them? DK on the sports tip, Monday through Fridays at 3, right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. know.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Stay connected while you're on the go with the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. Listen to Arizona Wildcats play-by-play. Get the latest news on your teams and more, all in one place. Download Wildcats Radio 1290 app from the App Store or Google Play today. Wildcats Radio 1290 app is sponsored by Goodfellas Home Solutions.
For quality, honesty, and service you can count on, call Goodfellas Home Solutions. Because when you need help around the house, we can fix it. Need a kitchen or bathroom makeover? Dealing with a clogged drain, leaky faucet, or sewer issue? We'll take care of it fast. We handle just about anything under your roof. Goodfellas Home Solutions. GoodfellasAC.com.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right.
What's right?
What the singing people just said.
Gary, you have your earbuds in. I don't know what you're hearing.
Oh, this.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right.
Hi, guys. What's right?
That I have my earbuds in.
No, you don't.
We were listening to the singing people.
Maybe I should go out and come back in again.
It's the thing about how we arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Oh, right. It's the Alaskan AC guarantee, so people aren't left waiting for a repairman. Don't we have singing people for that?
Yes, here, use my earbuds.
Gross.
Just play it, Gary.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right.
I know, right?
Right. I'm glad we had this meeting.
AlaskanAC.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you owe $5,000 or more and have missed another tax deadline, you're officially on the IRS's radar. The IRS has resumed aggressive collections. That means wage garnishments, bank levies, even seizures of your home, car, or retirement accounts. If you owe $5,000 or more and missed the deadline, you're stacking new debt on top of what you already owe. Call Priority Tax Relief now. Their experts fight back fast and are saving their clients millions in tax debt every month.
I owed over $50,000, and they settled it for pennies on the dollar. These guys are as legit as they come.
After speaking on my behalf with the IRS, my entire debt of $25,000 will be eliminated.
Whether you've received collection letters or you're already facing liens and garnishments, call for your free consultation. There are no upfront fees. Priority Tax Relief. Let's make your taxes our priority. Call 800-958-3071. 800-958-3071. 800-958-3071.
Priority Tax Relief.
Download our app. It slaps. Nobody covers Southern Arizona sports like we do. Don't miss out on any of the highlights, stories, and analysis. The flagship home for Arizona Wildcats athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Taylor Bishotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Broncos and wide receiver Courtland Sutton reached a long-term extension, agreeing to terms on a 4-year, $92 million deal, according to NFL Network insiders. Sutton will earn $23 million per season, coming off his first 1,000-yard season since 2019. Browns quarterback Kenny Pickett suffered a mild hamstring injury during practice over the weekend. Head coach Kevin Stefanski saying there is no timetable for Pickett's return and is considered day-to-day. Jets quarterback Justin Fields participated in 11-on-11 team drills at practice Monday after he suffered a dislocated toe on his right foot during camp last week. Jets head coach Aaron Glenn said, quote, "He was limited, but he was limited the way we wanted him to be limited." Colorado head coach Deion Sanders announced he's been treated for a bladder tumor. His medical team confirmed the bladder was removed and Sanders is now, quote, cured from the cancer. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Short drop now spinning away to his left. Sets up as time. Deep downfield, and the ball is caught down at the 25-yard line. First down, Arizona. Keyan Burnett, the tight end, who had a marvelous training camp, hauls it in. Big play again.
That's the new Keyan Burnett right now. He's just a much more.
Keyan Burnett, a senior, back with your Arizona Wildcats. Just 24 catches in his first 3 seasons. 3 catches in 22, playing primarily behind Tanner McLaughlin. 3 catches in 23, also playing behind Tanner McLaughlin. 18 catches last year for 217 yards. Had 1 touchdown, but it was a big touchdown. Came at the end of the Utah game to give the Wildcats a win on the road. I thought one of the other interesting things that Brent Brennan said in his comments today was how we felt like even when we won last year, we didn't feel like it was enough. That was shocking to hear that. I mean, and I get it. I mean, like, because we talked about it. You beat New Mexico. You barely beat New Mexico, a team you probably should have beat by more. But, I mean, I thought that game, you go in and you beat a team like Utah, who, again, now Utah did not have a good year, but still winning at Utah in Salt Lake City is never an easy thing to do. You put up 61 points against New Mexico, which was a great start to the season. You only beat Northern Arizona 22-10, and I think that's where that comes from. It's like, it's hard. I guess when you're Arizona, you feel like winning 22-10 is almost like losing a game, and I think that's kind of what he was talking about there. It's like, yeah, we just didn't feel good about some of these wins last season that they had, and you got to get back to feeling good about them. I think 27-3 over Houston, that was a dominant game. That was the last game, obviously, they won last season. I don't know if there was anything not to feel good about concerning that game, but, I mean, you'd lost 5 in a row going into that particular win, so finally ending that losing streak, I would think that would be something to be real happy about, but apparently that just wasn't maybe the way the Vibe played last year for the Arizona Wildcats in a lot of their victories. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. So we've been talking about Keyan Burnett and his return after he decided he wanted to transfer, went to Kansas, spent the spring in Kansas, but decided to come back to Arizona. You're going to hear tomorrow. We talked to Noah Fafita about it, and obviously that's another one of the Servite connections there. They've been together for quite a long time, and Noah's thought about Keyan coming back. You'll hear that tomorrow. But today I want you to hear from Josh Miller, because we've not really had a chance to hear from Josh Miller. He's the new tight ends coach for your Arizona Wildcats. And he just talked about this year and the pressure that's on Keyan Burnett. If there's pressure for him, being that this could be, again, if you expect that he's going to play an entire season, so this will likely be his last year in college, because he hasn't redshirted, so this will be his 4th and final year likely. The pressure that's on him to perform in his senior season.
We've been told by the outside world, like, they have very little to no expectations for us. Sure, rightfully so. We're exactly where we want to be, and we deserve to be there because we're a 4-8 football team until we put the ball down and show other people otherwise. Same thing as a football player. Right, he's got all this potential in the world, but he's got to go do it. And so he's going to have all the opportunities to go do it, but he's got to want that for himself, and it can't be to the point to where it's suffocating. Right, just go play ball. Right, and so giving him the tools enough to be successful is what we'll do. And as long as he stays healthy, I have no doubt in my mind he'll have success.
Josh, obviously we're in a crazy world of college football where guys like Keyan can leave but come back. And I asked this question to Coach Brennan. I'll ask it to you. How do you handle that dynamic when a guy walks away from a program but then comes back and the guys that stayed have to deal with that?
Yeah. Well, it's 2025, and the kids have more power and more information and more knowledge than ever before. Right, so the old day and age and the adage of you can pull some shades over some things and hide things from these kids aren't real, right? And at the end of the day, they're smarter than ever, right? Because they have access to all this information, and so they're able to make decisions that are best for them too. Now we can sit here and argue whether or not that was or was not the best decision for Keyan. But because he and Coach Brennan handled it professionally, gave us the opportunity to have that conversation once he was in the portal, right? And so if that was handled poorly, like, there would have been no conversations, because the culture that we were able to develop during the spring is what this program is going to be founded on, the Bear Down Brotherhood. And at the end of the day, Noah Fafita, Chris Hunter, Genesis Smith, like, those guys had more of a say on Keyan coming back than I did as a position coach. Because if they didn't want him back, or if they didn't feel like they fit into the culture, he wasn't going to come back. But universally, every one of our kids and then our coaches said, heck yeah, if he wants to come back, we want him back. He's going to help us. So not only does Keyan have all the athletic potential in the world, he's a great human too. And so universally across the board, because he went about it the right way, gave us the opportunity to bring him back.
So isn't that an easy message for you when you try to ingratiate him back into the room? There's really no friction. I mean, obviously guys that were here in the spring got reps and we're building their way to potentially be in TN1.
Yeah, so I never recruited Keyan. I've never coached Keyan before this. So the friction between he and I never existed. It doesn't exist, right? But I think, our biggest thing is does it help the program? Does it make us a better team? Does it make us a better program? And the answers to those questions were, yeah, he does. And so, whatever your views are, you can't be selfish, right? And no one in this program is. And, it was probably a blessing and a curse. I would have loved to got to coach Keyan in the spring to get him ingrained to what we're doing, to have all those reps. But the reality of it is it gave, Sam and Cam and Tyler opportunities to grow as a tight end as well that they may have not gotten if Keyan was here. So it was kind of a double-edged sword, you wish he was here to get those opportunities, but at the end of the day, you got to develop other guys in the room too that wouldn't have gotten opportunities if he was here. And so, we're a very selfless group, and so, I will not allow egos in that room. And so, if you got an ego, you're gonna have to meet me at the door.
We're chatting with new Arizona Wildcats tight end coach Josh Miller. And Josh, how are they all different? Because obviously we saw Sam grow last year and was able to get into the end zone. We've obviously watched Keyan. Tyler hasn't maybe had the shot that he wants, but how are they all kind of different?
Yeah, and I think obviously Keyan and Tyler have the frames to do it. Tyler has got arguably the most explosive linear speed of the big skill in the team, so he can really run. And obviously he's got great length. Now he's got to understand of lowering his pad level and, fine-tuning some techniques, being efficient with getting in and out of his breaks a little bit more. Keyan has got to come along as a blocker a little bit more and understanding ball blocking relationship, mentality. Now he did go to Kansas in the spring, so I'm sure they polished him up because that's what they do a little bit. I haven't gotten to see that quite yet, but that's a big part of his game that we're going to help bring him along this fall. And then Sam, is the shortest of the bunch, and I think he's done a really nice job of understanding who he is as a football player. He may not have the highest ceiling of the room, but he probably is the smartest as far as a football IQ and spatial awareness of understanding space and manipulating it and the looks that he's getting to allow him to be successful. And because he's bought into what I've been teaching, he's found ways to play longer and bigger, although he may not necessarily be the biggest and or tallest of the room.
Josh, welcome to Tucson and best of luck this season.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's Josh Miller. He is the new tight ends coach for your Arizona Wildcats, one of the several new coaches that came in for this first season, the second season under Brent Brennan, and looking forward to seeing kind of what he does with that room. He's got some talent there in that room, and Keyan Burnett, Tyler Pally talked about, Sam Olsen, who came on at the end of last year. So it's going to be fun to watch him kind of put that group together and for them to be a huge part of this offense. He was with Seth Dagey last year at Marshall, so they have worked together before, and will now try to take this offense that Seth Daggy wants to put into place and make brilliant things hopefully happen here with the Arizona Wildcats. But good to get to know there and get to meet Josh Miller, first season on the coaching staff with the Arizona Wildcats. And I talked about how excited I am for the wide receivers, but equally excited for this tight end group and what Keyan is going to bring. And I think that's perfect advice that Josh gave, because there is going to be a lot of pressure on Keyan. He's not only a highly recruited athlete out of Servite High School with those other kids, Noah Fafita and Teto McMillan and Jacob Manu and the like, but he's also a legacy. He's a legacy Arizona Wildcats. So it's even tougher sometimes on those kids. They come in here to their dad's program and they're expected to have the same type of success that their dads had. And that's not always the easiest thing to do. And we've seen a lot of kids of late that maybe haven't necessarily been able to live up to what their dads did here at the University of Arizona. It's a whole different type of pressure.
Speaking of legacy, there was a Josh Miller who played for the U of A.
Yeah.
And was an All-American. So I had to look it up.
Yeah, not the same guy.
No, definitely not.
Not the same guy. That'd be cool though. That'd be cool. I do remember there was a Josh Miller that played here. DK on the Sports Tip, you want to dive into that? Your thoughts on Keyan Burnett, your hopes for Keyan Burnett coming into this season, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Don't forget, stay connected while you're on the go with the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. Listen to all the Arizona Wildcats play-by-play, football, men's basketball, baseball. Get the latest on your teams and more. It's all in one place. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app from the App Store or Google Play today. The Wildcats Radio 1290 app is sponsored by Goodfellas Home Solutions. We appreciate all the folks over at Goodfellas Home Solutions. Be sure you go check them out. Show the Wildcat Radio 1290 crew this fall when they are out and about with me at, Bear Down Friday or on the mall on game day. Show them your app. They'll tell you how you might just have a chance to win some money, about $100 or so. Only at official stops. Visit the WildcatsRadio1290.com website /win money to see what we've got coming up on that front. DK on the Sports Tip. Dragon Ball is in for cricket. We'll hear from him as well more in the 5 o'clock hour. He's getting you home right now, as he does every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Columbus Boulevard south of Grant Road is closed for several months for the Grant Road Improvement Project, and through October, you will not be able to make left turns from Grant onto Columbus there, and Dodge Boulevard still remains closed north and south of Grant Road there as well. Still at 104 degrees, continuing to stay that way till we start to cool down around 6 p.m. tonight. I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
What up, Mario Lopez here, and I love me a throwback like the Staples Easy button. It's back and bringing more easy than ever. Custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. Yeah, Staples, that was easy.
Discover luxury at BMW of Tucson, your premier BMW dealership. Explore our extensive inventory, lease specials, and state-of-the-art service. Visit us at the Tucson Auto Mall or at bmwoftucson.com today.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah, it's just, she's my baby girl,
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
She's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
It's time to talk Grizzly.
The air conditioner made specifically for Arizona summers.
Alaskan AC introduced the Grizzly a couple years ago, and the reviews are pouring in.
This one says, I love how quiet it is. I can hardly hear it come on, but I'm always comfortable.
Another person writes, finally an air conditioner that can withstand the desert heat and dust.
This one says, I like its fluffy fur and cute black nose.
Anyway, if it's time to upgrade your AC, you can't do better than the Grizzly.
Only available at Alaskan AC.
People love it.
Like this person who said, we live in an older home and the Grizzly keeps us comfortable in every room.
Or this guy. We live just outside of town and the dust is horrible. Glad we have an AC that can take it.
Or this one. He's so cuddly and has these adorable pads on his paws.
Gary, I think you're on a different webpage.
Gary, I think you're different.
Learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
You're listening to the Jim Rome Show.
Finally a done deal. Rodgers, 41, will play his 21st NFL season in black and gold. And we'll ask this question. I'm looking for even one Steeler fan to say, I'm hyped. Like, I'm having a hard time finding even one Steeler fan to say, hey, Rome, I'm that voice in the wilderness who thinks that this is awesome. I am a believer. This is a good thing.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wow, this is bad.
Oh, no. How bad? When will my AC be fixed?
You know, I don't know. It's your flux capacitor. They don't make them anymore. Special order. Couple grand easy.
Oh, my God. What?
Don't get air-conned into paying for shoddy service and stuff you don't need. Put Goodfellas on the job. Goodfellas AC will repair or install your AC the right way the first time. You'll know up front exactly what it'll cost and how long it'll take. No surprises and free second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
This is Bill Ryder with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store at metalsupermarkets.com. Ryan Sandberg was one of the great Cubs of all time, but he was more than that. He was a legend. He was a class act to use his Hall of Fame speech to push baseball to be the best version of itself. And he was a gentleman to fans. I had the privilege to meet him a couple times, and it turns out sometimes you do want to meet your heroes. Rest in peace, Rhino. I'm Bill Ryder.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And all it takes is a few clicks. We make buying metal online easy so you can spend less time shopping and more time getting things done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Place an order online today at metalsupermarkets.com.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all three if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You heard the Sports Minute there, talking about the passing of Ryan Sandberg, legendary Chicago Cub, second baseman for the 1980s. He had been battling cancer over the course of the last couple of years and died yesterday at the age of 65. And just sad for those of us that grew up in Illinois. I went to high school in Central Illinois in the early 90s. I moved there in the fall of 1983. And kind of it's where, where I lived in Bloomington, Normal, Illinois, which is the central part of the state, a little bit south of Peoria, a little bit north of Champaign. You're right there kind of in the middle of the state of Illinois, where it's literally the battle of three fan bases. You've got your Cub fans, you've got your White Sox fans, and you've got your Cardinals fans. It's an interesting mix if you're in the central part of Illinois. And I had kind of become a Cub fan, or at least a Cub watcher, I would say, the year before when I was in 8th grade. That was the first year I had the Superstation, WGNN. I absolutely, it's really weird, like the memories you have of your life. And I absolutely remember the first Cubs game that I watched on WGN because it was the first day of spring break, and I was at home, and this was the cable, and I figured, I'm going to watch some baseball today. And I remember turning on WGN, and I think they were playing, I don't know, they were playing who they were playing that day, but just hearing Harry Carey for the first time, and at that point in my life, knowing as an 8th grader that I was, baseball broadcasting was something that I wanted to do. And I was like, wow, this guy is nuts. I don't think I've ever heard a broadcaster like this before.
Nobody ever did.
No. And watching Harry Carey, and I think that was the first year, as a matter of fact, 1983, the first year that Harry Carey and Steve Stone worked together. Now, I was familiar with Steve Stone because Steve Stone had played with my uncle in Baltimore. Steve Stone, who was from Cleveland, so he was very known in Northeast Ohio because he grew up in Cleveland, in South Euclid. And he had played with my uncle in Baltimore. He was on that 79 World Series team for the Orioles with my Baltimore, so I knew who Steve Stone was, and that was his first year in the broadcast booth, and then ended up in Illinois that fall of '84 or that fall of '83, and later that season, and then the 1984 season. And just the guys that were on that team, I spent half my summers growing up in Philadelphia, so I knew Larry Boa from being on the Phillies. I knew Bob Denier, who had been on the Phillies. I knew Ron Say because he had been on the Dodgers, and I'd spent time obviously living in Los Angeles and growing up, in that great Dodger infield of Ron Say and Davey Lopes and Bill Russell and Steve Garvey. So I knew Ron Say. I knew the Sarge because I want to say the Sarge had played in Philadelphia. It seemed like half the Phillies team had moved to the Cubs that year, and so I knew all those guys, and it just became. And then they started winning, and you kind of get tied into the fact that it's the Cubs, and the Cubs had never won anything for at that point like 40 years, and it was just an unbelievable summer. And then my best friend was a Cubs fan, so he was all jazzed, and so him being jazzed got me jazzed about the Cubs, and listening, getting a chance to every day listen and watch these games with Harry Carey on the broadcast, and it was just a memorable summer of 1984, and just the disappointment of them being up in that series against the Padres and not being able to close that out and get to the World Series. I remember it just like it was yesterday.
To put it in numbers, it was 1945 that they went to the World Series.
Yeah.
And 84, the NLCS versus the Padres was their next appearance in the postseason.
So let's hear some remembrance right now of the great guy known as Rhino, Ryne Sandberg, courtesy of MLB Network.
Ryne Sandberg's career as a player and manager spanned parts of 19 big league seasons. For 15 of those years, Ryne manned second base for the Chicago Cubs. He was a baseball superstar who brought a power-speed combo to the top of the Cubs lineup and played virtually error-free defense at second base.
Ryne Sandberg, the all-time leader, 480 chances, airless for Sandberg.
With a tireless work ethic and a genuine sense of humility, he endeared himself to a generation of Cubs fans, becoming one of the most popular players in franchise history. Rhino, as he was affectionately known, was a 10-time All-Star, 7-time Silver Slugger winner, tied for the most ever by a second baseman, and won 9 consecutive Gold Gloves, cementing his reputation as one of the finest defenders of his era. Sandberg ranks among the Cubs' top 5 in several categories, including games played, runs scored, stolen bases, hits, doubles, and home runs.
That's a drive, right back. It might be near the wall. It could be.
An all-time icon of the franchise, he's one of only 6 players to have his number retired by the Cubs. Ryne D. Sandberg was born in Spokane, Washington on September 18, 1959. In high school, he was a standout athlete in basketball, football, and of course, baseball.
I was playing 3 sports, year-round then, so, I didn't know which sport I was going to play or which one I wanted to play. So after high school, I thought baseball would be the best for me.
In the summer of 1978, he was drafted in the 20th round by the Philadelphia Phillies. He made his major league debut in 1981. After that season, Sandberg was traded to the Chicago Cubs. Ryan wasn't an overnight sensation with his new team, and the Cubs struggled on the field in his first 2 years. But in 1984, the Cubs put it all together, with Sandberg leading the way. And in June, he burst onto the national scene with a game for the ages.
NBC Sports presents the Major League Baseball Game of the Week. And today from Wrigley Field, it's the St. Louis Cardinals versus the Chicago Cubs.
It was the Saturday game of the week, which was a big deal, and which, as the players, we call it the game of the world because everybody was watching.
The Cardinals jump out, I think, to a 9-3 lead, and the Cubs come back, and it's 9-8 as they come up in the ninth.
I'd already had a good game going, had 3 or 4 hits at that time, which, as an offensive player, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
And Bruce Sutter, former Cub, now Cardinal, premier relief pitcher in the National League, faces Sandberg.
Going around the bases, the crowd went nuts.
Sandberg's homer into the bleachers and left, tied it at 9.
And then I came up again, I think it was 2 innings later. Bruce still in there pitching.
2 out, last chance for the Cubs. Up comes Sandberg to face Sutter.
Identical swing, pitch, and results.
He hits it to deep left center. Look out! Do you believe it? It's gone!
The Cubs eventually win the game. And that game is still called the Sandberg game because it was so dramatic, because the whole country saw it. That's what kind of put Ryne Sandberg on the map.
That one game brought me to a different level as far as thinking of myself as a baseball player. I got to live up to that, not only tomorrow, but, I have to live up to that the rest of the year, which I thought I did.
On the strength of what became known as the Sandberg game, Ryan was voted starting second baseman for the National League All-Star team, the first of 10 consecutive elections. He also went on to win the 1984 National League MVP.
Rhino, you're awesome, brother. You are awesome.
And led the Cubs into the playoffs for the first time in 39 years. However, the trip to the playoffs ended in disappointment, as did another appearance in 1989. Rhino, for his part, however, continued to turn in MVP-caliber performances, collecting several personal milestones throughout his career.
There's a drive, way back, number 40, Rhino hits his 40th home run.
In 1990, he led the National League in home runs and became just the third second baseman to reach the 40 home run mark. By the end of his career, Ryan was on the verge of a milestone that would cement his place amongst the greatest players the game had ever seen.
There it is, way back, a record-breaking home run! Ryne Sandberg! He has now hit more home runs than any second baseman in history. How about that?
He retired in 1997, and in 2005, Ryne Sandberg was recognized among the game's all-time greats with membership into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
The reason I am here, they tell me, is that I played the game a certain way, that I played the game the way it was supposed to be played. I don't know about that, but I do know this. If there is a single reason I am here today, it is because of one word: respect. Thank you, and go Cubs.
Ten-time All-Star was Ryne Sandberg. 9 consecutive Gold Glove awards, 7 Silver Slugger trophies, and no disrespect to Bob Costas and NBC, but that Sandberg game that in which he hit 2 home runs, one to tie the game in the 9th, and one to tie the game in the 10th. We got to hear that. We got to hear that. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to imagine,
unless you're driving.
Yeah, exactly. If you're driving, good job, J-Dub. Yeah, if you're driving, pull over the side of the road. I want you to close your eyes and imagine you're in your bedroom on that transistor radio in 1983 or whatever year this was. Listening to Harry Carey, the voice of the Cubs, call the second home run that Ryan Sandberg hit off the legendary Bruce Sutter.
They give Sandberg the entire right field section. Now to stretch the pitch.
If I'm not mistaken, that day, Harry Carey and Jack Brickhouse, I believe, were doing the game together that day. And, of course, Harry Carey's famed call, "It could be, it might be, it is, holy cow." And then Jack Brickhouse, who was the legendary Cubs announcer prior to Harry Carey, his famous saying was, "Hey, hey." And so you had "Hey, hey" and "Holy cow" crossing over for that great moment in Cubs history. Ryan Sandberg, dead at the age of 65, Hall of Famer and Chicago Cub icon. It was, again, just a few weeks ago I was in there in Chicago at Wrigley Field. He's got a monument there, and just a tremendous, tremendous ball player. The memories of 1984 will live on forever for those of us that were a part of that fabulous summer in Illinois. DK on the Sports Tip, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Want to hear your memories of Ryan Sandberg, 520-848-1290. Call or text. Love to hear them. More Arizona football coverage coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to hear from Ishmael Mahdi. Izzy, one of the new running backs, who Noah Fafita will be handing the ball off to and or passing the ball to. He's a transfer from Texas State. He'll tell you why he's happy to be a part of this program. Dragon Ball is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your track and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Country Club Road north and south of I-10 opening back up after a shutdown to one lane, but this will be going back up to one lane tomorrow at 6:30 through August the 2nd. Again, southbound Alvernon Way between I-10 north and I-10 will be reduced to one lane until tonight, 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday. For your weather, we're currently at 104 degrees, still staying at that spot, and we'll be slowly cooling down here at 6. I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Craving an action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills on your command. Get your imagination going with audiobooks that keep you guessing. Captivating originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and bestsellers. Start listening free when you sign up for a 30-day trial at audible.com.
Hard work is the foundation of the job site. Boot Barn Work and Carhartt are committed to supporting the hard workers that keep our nation moving. Boot Barn Work proudly offers a broad selection of Carhartt workwear and boots, known for durability and quality since 1889. When the work is relentless, Carhartt is trusted to finish the job. With so much on the line, there's no room for cutting corners. Carhartt at Boot Barn Work.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Don't miss out on any of the action as the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
Bradley for three. Jaden Bradley has come alive in the second half.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats Athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right. What's right? What the singing people just said.
Gary, you have your earbuds in. I don't know what you're hearing.
Oh, this.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right.
Hi, guys. What's right? That I have my earbuds in. No, you don't.
We were listening to the singing people.
Maybe I should go out and come back in again.
It's the thing about how we arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Oh, right. It's the Alaskan AC guarantee, so people aren't left waiting for a repairman. Don't we have singing people for that? Yes. Here, use my earbuds. Gross.
Just play it, Gary.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
That's right.
I know, right?
Right. I'm glad we had this meeting.
AlaskanAC.com.
It's part sports.
We have football on the brain.
Part pop culture.
Dennis Leary. True or false? You refuse to wear a glove with Mickey Mantle's signature on it for the movie The Sandlot.
The Red Sox blood, the Bruins blood, they run deep.
And in the best celebrity interviews.
Robert De Niro here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Just got over a 24-hour virus.
The antidote is to appear on The Rich Eisen Show.
There you go. I would have just done it earlier.
And you've got The Rich Eisen Show podcast.
There is a medicinal quality to appearing on this program.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Noah Fafita has a new weapon this season.
It is caught. What a spectacular catch for Luke Weissong. My goodness.
Oh, my word. I'm not the tallest, like, being tough. My dad taught me that.
Catch Luke Weissong and the Cats all season long on Wildcats Radio 1290.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
The best place to get all the news and highlights of your Arizona Wildcats.
Swing and a miss. The Arizona Wildcats are going to Omaha.
We are Wildcats Radio, 1290 KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hour number 3 of our show on this Tuesday. We got full shows for you coming up today, tomorrow, 2 hours on Thursday, as we'll have the Hall of Fame game from Canton, Ohio.
Did they mail the jackets again this
Canton. They did. I only saw one of those reveals. I believe it was the Eric Allen when he got his in the mail and he was with his sons. I think it was it him? Yeah, I only saw one of those. But, yeah, they did mail them. And they did film them. So they are out there. We'll talk to Bobby Wade, get his thoughts tomorrow on this Hall of Fame class that is going in. Bobby Wade, of course, played 9 years in the National Football League. Get his thoughts on some of those guys and how soon we might see his teammate here, not only at the U of A, but in the NFL, Lance Briggs, who's on the cusp. Lance Briggs, very close, potentially to having a chance to be a Hall of Famer. In fact, I got to look. Let me look this up because my criteria for NFL Hall of Fame is at least 5 Pro Bowls and minimum 2-time All-Pro.
7-time.
So he was
Pro
a
Bowl.
7-time Pro Bowler.
2-time first-team All-Pro.
Well, there you go. So he meets my criteria to be an NFL Hall of Famer. The question is will he get in? 173 games, pretty much a starter for 10 years.
Durable, too.
Yeah, he played a lot of games as that. Yeah, he was an All-Pro, first-team All-Pro. Actually, first-team All-Pro once, second-team All-Pro twice. So he was All-Pro 3 times.
Oh, it says here, 2-time first-time All-Pro, 2005, 2006.
Yeah. So, and then he was second-team All-Pro in 2009. So that's even coming back after a few years of not being. But 7 straight Pro Bowls. he was in. So that's saying a lot.
How about 100 greatest Bears of all time list? I mean, I know that's subjective, but there's been a lot of great players for that franchise, DK.
There has for sure been quite a few guys in that realm. As we've been talking about Chicago, obviously the last half hour with the death of Ryan Sandberg, and it's interesting. We talk about that game known as the Sandberg game, and I think it holds so much lore because one, it was a sunny. I mean, well, back in the day they played all the games during the day. I think we've said before, but I forget what year it was they went to the night games, but it wasn't 1984. I think it was a little bit after that.
It was very controversial, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But it was a packed house. You're playing the Cardinals, which, of course, is the Cubs' rivalry, the rival in that game. And I often wonder when I think about that day and just going back and watching those highlights right now and listening to the call by Harry Carey, how many people say that they were at that game in Chicago? Because we have our game in Cleveland that everybody says they were at, but nobody really was at. And that was the night in May of 1981 when Len Barker pitched a perfect game against the Toronto Blue Jays. 100,000 people will tell you that they were there that night for that game. But the reality was it was a horribly cold May night, in a horribly cold night in mid-May, and there might have been 5,000 people.
What's worse
in the ballpark that
What's
night.
worse, deciding not to go to a game where a perfect game was pitched because it was too cold, or break lights in the parking lot? Like going to a game and leaving early, of a monumental moment.
Like Kirk Gibson's home run.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of that highlight is the brake lights in the parking lot.
The parking lot. I think that would be worse. I absolutely think that would be worse, to have been in a game and to leave early.
I told you my story.
You did.
I was at the Miracle at McHale.
Yes.
McMiracle
Yes,
at McHale.
McMiracle,
Steve
right.
Kerr to McMillan, and we left maybe 2 minutes before that happened and heard it on the radio.
Oh, my gosh. Well, hey, they at least you had the radio, the salvation of the radio.
I was like
there.
8, so I was not driving. I did not make the decisions at the time, but yeah, we did leave.
Blame that one on Dad.
Yeah,
taking
always.
you out of there. Absolutely. But hey, he gave you who was calling the games back then?
That was right when Brian started, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
That was 86, 87,
Maybe
I want to say.
Brian or Ray Scott, one of the two.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so you have that memory, though. Just like I had I tell people all the time, I was watching that night when Kirk Gibson hit the home run. I was watching at a bar, and I left early. Now, I purposely left early because I'd said if anything's dramatic, because I'm, at that time in college and wanting to be a Major League Baseball announcer, I said, if anything's dramatic here, I want to hear what it's going to sound like on the radio. So I kind of purposely said, I'm going to start walking home now so I could turn it on the radio. And I was one of the few people that actually heard, because back in everybody remembers the call by Vin Scully, but it was Don Drysdale's call on the radio. So that was the call I heard that night walking home from the bar on campus, which was, probably about a 10, 15-minute walk to where I lived right off of campus. But that was the call I heard.
I can say
Don
this.
Drysdale call.
I did see that play live. Like, I was watching that game when Kirk hit that home run. I remember him hobbling up to the plate.
But if you're from Chicago, and you're from Chicago, or you're from Illinois, you're a Cubs fan in the 80s, how many people do you know that say they were there? I was there that day that Ryan Sandberg hit a homer off Bruce Sutter in the 9th to tie the game, and a 2-run homer off of Bruce Sutter again in the 10th to tie the game again. How many people do you know that actually say that they were there, but weren't really? But you weren't really there. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. So I would imagine, so that was a regular season game. The Cleveland story is a regular season game. I don't know, I would imagine the Diamondbacks story for that would be Game 7 of the World Series.
Right.
But that's like Game 7 of the World Series. We know most people were not at Game 7 of the World Series, although I would imagine that there's plenty of people here in Arizona who claim that they were there that night. when Luis Gonzalez won the World Series?
Just like the 97 championship for the Cats. I was on the porch at Frog. That's where I saw both of those events happen. Was on a TV about 10 feet in front of me on the porch at Frog.
Is there
with the Sierra Nevada in my hand.
But is there another dramatic Diamondbacks game? Maybe a dramatic regular season game where people claim they were there but really weren't there?
Well, there were some no-hitters, right? I mean, between Kurt and Randy, so weren't there?
Randy, I want to see, did Randy throw any of his no-hitters here at home? It seemed like I remember his no-hitters, or at least one or two of them being on the road. I don't know. If you're a Diamondbacks fan, what is that game? What is that regular? If it's the Game 7 of the World Series, that's the game. But what is that other game? Maybe a regular season game that people claim that they were there, but they really weren't there that night. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. I'd love to hear the answer to that question, because I'm sure every team has a game like that. Every team has a game where people claim, oh, yeah, remember that night or remember that game? Yeah, I was there. I was there for that game. But you really know that they weren't there.
The funny thing about the quote-unquote Sandberg game is I just had this conversation with some younger people about who shot JR last week.
Yeah.
And explaining how that was such a monumental thing that, like, the President of the United States was commenting about it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
To explain that to people in the modern era who grew up in the last 40 years, DK, because when there were three television channels, and there was no internet, there wasn't just this constant bombardment. So there was things like Dallas, the TV show, being the only thing people talked about at the water cooler.
Yeah.
The Sandberg game was the one nationally televised game everybody got to see that week. You don't have that anymore. Don't have those monumental things where everybody has a shared experience, because there's just so many options for people these days.
There is for sure.
Not that that's a bad thing.
No.
Just saying, like, you can't repeat the Who Shot JR, the Sandberg game type moments, because there isn't that exclusivity of everybody tuning in and watching it.
I'm trying to remember of some other dramatic games in my life. I'm sure there were a ton of Laker games that you would think about growing up in Los Angeles. And
did you get to a lot of those Showtime Laker games?
I did not go to. I wouldn't say I went to a lot. I went to a few. I probably, in the 4 years I was in college, I probably went to about 10 games.
I saw them play once, but it was in Salt Lake City. I saw Magic and Worthy and et al., Byron Scott and Kareem play in Salt Lake, like probably mid '80s, but never in Los Angeles.
My wife is making me. I've talked about this before. She's making me go through my old tapes, my old VHS tapes.
Right.
And one of them that I came across was, which is interesting because I was at the gym last week and I was watching. They had this on the story of the Detroit Pistons and those teams, the Bad Boy Pistons, and how they came of age and eventually they won their first title by sweeping the Lakers in 1989. And I had the last 4 minutes of Game 4 on one of my tapes, and so I went back and I watched that, and it was awesome because it was just a celebration, because that was Kareem's last game,
right?
And it was just a celebration of Kareem, even though they were going to lose. It was a celebration of Kareem and the final minutes of his career.
And Magic and Worthy got hurt early in that series, right? So it wasn't much of a series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Magic was out with I think it was a hamstring injury, and they had a number of injuries, but it was really just kind of to go back. I love we love those nostalgic. I don't know if it was a 30 for 30 type thing or whatever, not. But it just how the Pistons, how they had to learn how to win, and the losses that they had to the Celtics. Ooh,
I have the Magic Johnson
there.
I have the Magic Johnson HIV All-Star game on VHS tape, because that was my senior year when that news came out. So my whole basketball team at Greenfield's all gathered together. Did you hear Magic, all this stuff? So when he did come back, DK, and hit all those threes and they just stopped the game at the end of it, I still have that on VHS.
No, I remember that the day he announced that he had HIV. That's still maybe one of the most memorable days that I was in this business, because I just started in the business and I was working in small town California. And I just remember the day that came over the wire, the moment that came over the wire, because the wire, back in the day, you would get like the wire, you would get this ringing sound, like if something dramatic was about to come over the wire. And I think it was like 3 bells, or kind of like a 3 bell kind of kind of thing. And you would walk over to the wire to see what's coming over, like an alert us or something. And I remember just seeing it and thinking, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable.
What was that like growing up in the era of telegrams?
Right. Exactly. Dragon Ball joins us now. Dragon Ball, we were obviously memories of Ryan Sandberg, passed away yesterday at the age of 65. We were talking about that game, like in Cleveland. Every fan base has that one game where everybody says they were there, but they really weren't there.
Yes.
Okay, so for Cleveland fans, it's Len Barker's perfect game in 1981. There was literally it was the worst. It was an absolutely cold night in mid-May. There might have been 6,000 people at the stadium, but you could talk to 100,000 people in Cleveland that will claim that they were there that night. And we were just playing the highlights from the Sandberg game where he hit 2 home runs off Bruce Sutter in the 9th and 10th innings to help the Cubs beat. Now that was a full house at Wrigley Field. There were 30,000 people there that day. But I can imagine there's probably 300,000 Cubs fans who will claim that they were there for that game that weren't there. What's that game? Is there a game for you, and like whether it's a Steeler game or a Pirates game that you grew up and said people always said they were at that game, but they really weren't at that game?
I can't think of any that immediately come to mind for me, only because for me, I've never really been to any like live Steeler games and stuff like that for me. So I can't think of anyone that I would say, but I can say I was there in the stands as a very young man when the Cardinals still had to go ahead and share their stadium with the school up north. I was there when Jerome Bettis ran for the overtime win against them. I was at that stadium. There was
Sun Devil Stadium.
Yeah, I was there, and there were a bunch of Steeler fans out there, but I'd imagine there'd have to be a number of them that would probably say they were there for the Mike Wallace catch against Green Bay. And I mean, that one was pretty epic for that one. Everyone's probably said they've been at the 2008 AFC Championship game for the Steelers, but I probably would also say that there's probably been a lot of Diamondbacks that say they were there during the NLCS at some point or another.
Well, we were saying like for the Diamondbacks, it's probably the Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah,
but for me, it's got to be that dramatic because the Lynn Barker thing was a regular season game. The Sandberg game was a regular season game. I'm really playoff games are different. It's like there's like dramatic. I was looking really maybe like a dramatic regular season game where whatever team you follow, people claim that they were at that game, but you know that they really weren't.
How about May 8th, 2001 at Bank One Ballpark?
Ooh, okay.
Where a 6'10" guy struck out 20 batters.
Oh, so that would have been a Randy Johnson game.
That was at home. Yeah, because his perfect game was on the road.
Yeah, because his perfect game was on the road.
That's what I thought his no-hitters and perfect games were not at home games. Wow. So, 20. There you go. The night that Randy struck out 20. What was the team?
You know who he struck out in that game?
Who?
Deion Sanders.
Wow. We didn't even talk about Deion Sanders yesterday at all. Obviously, great to hear that Deion is getting himself healthy and going to be on the sidelines for Colorado because there was a lot of people speculating that he was about to step away from that program. And so, and as always, a lot of people got that wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Out there.
He was styling, too, in that cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah.
He always is. Speaking of cowboy hats, my wife went to Vegas last weekend because her nephew was going to see Beyonce, the end of the Cowboy Carter tour. And my wife's like, I've never seen so many folks wearing cowboy hats in my life.
When they're in fashion.
Right? Exactly. and Deion has become, he is taken, although he's not originally from Texas, he's from Florida, he has taken his Texasness to the top level with those big white Stetsons that he sports. I think it's become really a part of his trademark now as a head coach. Maybe one day he'll coach Texas. Who knows? All right. Dragon Ball's getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives. We're going to hear from Ishmael Mahdi. Has he ever fumbled the ball? We'll find out. Ishmael Mahdi, new running back for your Arizona Wildcats.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Traffic on Grant Road east of Country Club to Alvernon Way will be shifting to the newly paved roads on the south side of the roadway, Crews are already reconstructing those lanes on the north side. This is from Grant Road from east of Country Club to Alvernon Way, and both directions of Grant Road from east of Country Club to the east of Columbus are impacted as they continue the Grant Road improvement project there. For your weather, still at 104 degrees. We'll be slowly starting to get our temperature down lower, breaking out of the hundreds once we reach 8 o'clock. I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
What up, Mario Lopez here, and you know I love me a throwback like the Staples Easy button. It's back and bringing more easy than ever. Custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. Yeah, Staples, that was easy.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Midcourt, shot is up. Good! Love has hit a 3. We're going to overtime.
Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's July and we're celebrating Independence Day all month. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing wants to buy your old air conditioning unit. For the month of July, we will buy back your old AC unit for $1,776 with the purchase and installation of a new air conditioning system. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com.
It's time to talk Grizzly.
The air conditioner made specifically for Arizona summers.
Alaskan AC introduced the Grizzly a couple years ago, and the reviews are pouring in.
This one says, I love how quiet it is. I can hardly hear it come on, but I'm always comfortable.
Another person writes, finally an air conditioner that can withstand the desert heat and dust.
This one says, I like its fluffy fur and cute black nose.
Anyway, if it's time to upgrade your AC, you can't do better than the Grizzly.
Only available at Alaskan AC.
People love it.
Like this person who said, we live in an older home and the Grizzly keeps us comfortable in every room.
Or this guy. We live just outside of town and the dust is horrible. Glad we have an AC that can take it.
Or this one. He's so cuddly and has these adorable pads on his paws.
Gary, I think you're on a different webpage.
Gary, I think you're different.
Learn more about the Grizzly at alaskanac.com.
Hey, it's David Kelly, DK on the Sports Tip. Don't forget to download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. It slaps. We've got full coverage of the Wildcats, the Suns, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, Pima College. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands. The AUSL, a new professional softball league, just concluded their inaugural season. On Sunday in Tuscaloosa, the Talons were crowned the first ever champs. They swept the Bandits in a best-of-3 series to claim the historic title. The Athletes Unlimited Softball League is filled with former college softball stars. Montana Fouts, who used to pitch for the University of Alabama, dominated for the Talons on Sunday. She tossed a complete game shutout and led her new squad to a title on her old college field.
First, I just wanted to thank everybody that has anything to do with this. I mean, AUSL just put on an awesome production. Alabama for having us, Coach Murphy, the field crew. We literally could have not done this without them. And all the staff that has everything to do with it, I feel like that's a form of motivation for me.
Congrats to the Talons on their AUSL championship. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Jody Jackson on Westwood One.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's got my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of gold unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
Save money on your next full synthetic oil change at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $35.95. We can recommend all the oil change supplies you need. Shop your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chevy.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Before we hear from Ismail Mahdi, we've got some breaking news right now. There has been an earthquake off the coast of Russia, an 8.0 magnitude earthquake that took place today off the coast of Russia. This appears to have been maybe about an hour ago or so.
Yeah, about 45 minutes.
Yeah, about an hour ago. And so now we've got a tsunami warning, or at least a tsunami advisory. Tsunami watch, I believe, is what I'm seeing now from the emergency management.
I think watch is potential and warning means imminent.
Yeah, so a tsunami watch is where we are right now, has been issued by the state of Hawaii. And this is going to be effective for the rest of the day. They're anticipating that if this earthquake did generate a tsunami, that the first waves could impact Hawaii at around 7:17 Honolulu time. It is right now, Hawaii is 3 hours behind us. So right now it is 2:26 in Hawaii. So they're estimating potentially with around 5 hours from now, if a tsunami were to hit, that it would likely hit about 5 hours from now. So that is something we want to keep an eye on. In fact, we had a chance to talk. One of the Arizona Wildcats we had a chance to talk to today was new offensive lineman. He's known as Keyan Burnett. We'll have that interview for you maybe coming up tomorrow. But Keyan is from Honolulu. And he left home for the first time. Born in Honolulu, grew up in Honolulu, went to high school there, played 3 years at the University of Hawaii, and decided now to play his final season of college football at the University of Arizona. And so obviously this is definitely probably something that is affecting him with his relatives in the state of Hawaii. So we will keep an eye on that, and we will send out, obviously, our thoughts to everyone out there to hopefully this does not develop into a tsunami, but an 8.0 earthquake today off the coast of Russia has issued a tsunami watch for the state of Hawaii. If there's anything else that comes in on that before the end of our show, we'll make sure that we get that to you. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Ismail Mahdi from San Marcos, Texas, a transfer from Texas State, a running back. He is one of the new running backs in the room. It's a room that is not quite as decorated as it was last year when we talked yesterday about the 4 oars and who was going to carry the ball last season. But not as many accomplished names in that room this season. But Ismail Mahdi is one of them. He's got a chance to be that lead guy alongside Kedrick Risino, and we had a chance to talk to Ishmael today at U of A Football Media Day. Ishmael Made is one of the new running backs for the Arizona Wildcats. He joins us now, transfer from Texas State. What are your thoughts on Tucson after having a chance to be here in the spring?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been great. I love Tucson, really small town, college town, similar to where I came from, San Marcos. The people is amazing. The food is amazing. So I've been having a great time here.
Obviously, a couple guys from Texas coming over from Max Smith, I believe, was your teammate there. When you guys were going through this process, did you talk to each other about the possibility of what this could be for the two of you?
Yeah, we talked to each other. We was in the process together, so we communicated, and we're both obviously on a different side of the ball, but we just love the coaching staff, just as individuals, as people. They were so amazing, very straight up. When I first talked to my running back coach, Coach Alonzo Carter, he didn't even talk about all the good things I did. He talked about all the things that I need to work on, and that's the type of thing that I'm looking for, especially to get to the next level. Just keeping it honest with me, letting me know that you got to get better in these areas of the game. So that's why I chose Arizona.
Okay, so what were some of those things he told you that he wanted you to be better at?
Just definitely in the pass game, just got to clean up some of my technique and blocking.
No block, no rock.
Exactly, no block, no rock. So he kept it straight up. He said we just got to clean up a couple things in your technique so you could get to that next level. So.
And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Max because we had him on the show last week. I said because he knows you so well. Okay, I asked him how would you tackle Izzy, and how do you think and what do you think Izzy would do to avoid being tackled by you? So I'm going to ask you that question. What would you do to avoid being tackled by Max?
I think I'll hit him on a 1-2 jab, get him outside right, and then come back inside left. Hit him with a 1-2 jab, break the ankle. That's what I would do, my go-to.
And if you were Max, as a linebacker, what would you do to handle on bringing down Izzy?
I'll say just take a great angle. I think that'll be your best bet. Take a great angle. You give me a little space, I'll take off on you. So. Yeah.
Ishmael Mahdi is our guest. Now, did I see this right? You've never fumbled the ball in a game?
I have.
You have?
I have. Yeah, I have fumbled it.
Okay. So, but ball security though is something that you are very good at.
Yes, I'm very good at ball security. You got to protect the football. You can't turn over the football. You got to be the coaches got to trust you. You fumble the football, the coach is looking at you just a little different. You know what I mean? Especially when you're in a football game time situation. So you got to protect the football.
So what are the keys in that for you?
Just high and tight fundamentals, listening to what the coach is saying, protect the football, going through traffic, make sure you got two hands on the ball. All the little fundamentals plays a big part.
Now, obviously, you maybe don't have the size of a lot of guys. When people have looked at you and think, well, he's not big enough, how have you been able to overcome the people that say that about you?
Just believing in myself, knowing what type of player I am. I know myself. They haven't seen my career and stuff like that, especially when they get to first to know me. So I just know what type of caliber player I am, and I just go out there and just bet on myself and play football. So.
San Marcos, Texas. Well, I've never been there. Tell me about San Marcos, Texas.
It's amazing. They got a river down the university, right between the university. It's 30 minutes away from San Antonio, and then 30 minutes away from Austin. So, it's a great area.
And for you, just when you were looking maybe for that next opportunity from Texas State, what were the top three things that you wanted in that opportunity, whether it was going to be a Power 4 or wherever you were going to go from there?
Yeah, first was Power 4, being in a Power 4 conference. Second was finding the right offense. And third was finding the best running back coach to develop me to get me to that next level. So
what excites you about this Seth Daggy offense?
Just the versatility they use the running backs in, and the tempo offense, and this the mentality that Seth Daggy comes in and motivates us every day to just be the best that we could be as football player and as humans.
Tell me about Kedrick Risino and what your impressions are of him.
Yeah, that guy is a freak. He's a baller. I'm excited to get out there and compete with him every day. We push each other, and that's what you want. You want good guys in the running back room so you could compete every day because you don't want to be stagnant. You want to get better every day. So I'm excited to get out there and compete with Kedrick Risino. He's a hell of a player.
Izzy, welcome to Tucson. Best of luck.
Mahdi you.
All right, Ishmael Mahdi arrives here in Tucson from Texas State. and looking to win that running back battle and be the lead guy for Noah Fafita and this Seth Deggy-led offense coming into this season.
So 30 minutes to San Antonio is a Riverwalk, right? Or 30 minutes to hang out with all the hippies in Austin. It's a good choice to have to make.
Absolutely. I think I would prefer to hang out on the Riverwalk. That would probably be my choice. For
Charles
sure.
Barkley's favorite city.
Yeah, there you go. Ishmael Mahdi's played in 33 games. He actually started his career at Houston Christian. So another guy, kind of like his buddy Max Smith on the other side, started at a really small school and worked his way up. So that seemed to be the other maybe common theme with some of these transfers. Guys that have kind of worked their way up that ladder. Now that you can transfer, you start at one level, you perform there, you go to the next level, you perform there, and then you get a chance maybe at a Power 4. And that's what this opportunity has afforded for him. He's got close to 3,000 yards rushing in his college career.
Not to be controversial, but wasn't that the whole concept behind OKGs?
Yeah.
Was the idea of somebody who, regardless of how many stars they had behind their name, were willing to put the work in and wanted to be the best version of themselves. And, DK, I mean, how many people are trying to play high Power 4 conference college football these days? It's a long list of people trying to get it. It doesn't mean if you don't make it right away or if you're not recruited by some of the big dogs from the start, it doesn't mean that you can't work your way into a position as a sophomore or junior where you get more eyeballs, and especially in the NIL transfer era. So never stop working.
Ismail did have a little bit of a drop-off in his game last year. He ran for big-time yards in his junior season, close to 1,300 yards, in fact, in his junior season, but did not come close to that last season. A little bit more of a difficult time for him at Texas State. So, obviously, he's going to be looking not only to prove he can run here, but looking to prove he can bounce back from a little bit of a lesser par season that he had the year before.
So you're playing linebacker, and Dragon Ball's bringing the ball up, and opposite. Dragon Ball's playing linebacker, and you're the running back. Do you do that little left, right, inside out move to juke him out of his shoes, or what's your go-to?
I don't know that I was good enough to have a go-to when I played football. I was kind of the put my shoulder down and try to run him over. That was about. I knew I wasn't going to shake anybody. I knew I wasn't going to outrun anybody. I was just trying to maybe put my shoulder down and see if I could get about 3 or 4 extra yards.
I've said this before, but
go-to.
I never went to a school that offered football until the U of A.
Yeah.
Literally. None of the schools I went to had football teams. But you know what was really popular in the 80s, DK?
What's that?
Tag.
Ooh.
So as far as like left-right jukes and getting people to go one way instead of the other way, yeah, I didn't do it with pads on, but I have pulled that move a couple of times.
All right. We will have our Desert Diamond Casino replay. We'll let you hear the head coach, Brent Brennan, what he had to say about the return of Keyan Burnett to the Arizona Wildcats after Keyan transferred out earlier this spring to the Kansas Jayhawks. Dragon Ball is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Waterline replacement project still ongoing on Park Avenue between 36th Street to the north of 22nd, but this work should be done by end of August. We also have that 6-lane winding project impacting traffic along Valencia Road, east of Colton to the west of Houghton Road. Crews are getting set to leave there for the day at 6 p.m. Still at about 103 degrees again. We're going to start our cooling right now, finally getting out of the hundreds by about 8. I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
What up, Mario Lopez here? And I love me a throwback like the Staples Easy button. It's back and bringing more easy than ever. Custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. Yeah, Staples, that was easy.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At Target, back-to-school-a-days are here. What is back-to-school-a-days, you ask? We're talking 7 days of deals on looks and styles the kids will love, at prices you'll love even more. Because back-to-school at Target means getting all of the above. Through August 2nd, save 25% on select kids' clothes, with additional savings to round out their looks, including uniforms, leggings, polos, and activewear. Plus, their new favorite backpacks are 30% off. Happy back-to-school-a-days now through August 2nd, only at Target. Terms and conditions apply.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's July and we're celebrating Independence Day all month. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing wants to buy your old air conditioning unit. For the month of July, we will buy back your old AC unit for $1,776 with the purchase and installation of a new air conditioning system. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturerockschooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
It's DK on the sports tip. Did you hear what we were talking about? People get upset about the weirdest stuff.
Oh, the casual goodbye.
Let the kid make the announcement when he wants to make the announcement.
Maybe he's been busy.
He's busy about to be a first-round pick. I'm sorry that he didn't write you a note saying that thank you, Arizona, love all the fans. DK on the sports tip, Monday through Fridays at 3 right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Attention taxpayers. If you owe $5,000 or more and have missed another tax deadline, you're officially on the IRS's radar. The IRS has resumed aggressive collections. That means wage garnishments, bank levies, even seizures of your home, car, or retirement accounts. If you owe $5,000 or more and missed the deadline, you're stacking new debt on top of what you already owe. Call Priority Tax Relief now. Their experts fight back fast and are saving their clients millions in tax debt every month.
I owed over $50,000. And they settled it for pennies on the dollar. These guys are as legit as they come.
After speaking on my behalf with the IRS, my entire debt of $25,000 will be eliminated.
Whether you've received collection letters or you're already facing liens and garnishments, call for your free consultation. There are no upfront fees. Priority Tax Relief. Let's make your taxes our priority. Call 800-958-3071. 800-958-3071. 800-958-3071.
Priority Tax Relief.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Find a store at metalsupermarkets.com. Jeff Passan reported that while Rob Manfred was meeting with the Phillies, Bryce Harper stood up and told the commissioner to get the bleep out of his clubhouse if the commissioner was going to try and shove a salary cap down the player's throat. I'm Team Harper here and love that he did go to bat for the players, but I wish Harper would have asked the commission if he would have been open to creating a salary floor to see how Manfred would have nervously squirmed his way out of that answer. I'm Zach Gelb.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And all it takes is a few clicks. We make buying metal online easy so you can spend less time shopping and more time getting things done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Place an order online today at metalsupermarkets.com.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all 3 if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. So, the Diamondbacks led 2-0 over the Tigers in Detroit. But now Detroit has a 9-2 lead in the 6th inning. So, I'm imagining that things did not go well for Brandon Pfaadt tonight. 7 earned runs on 11 hits in 4 2/3 innings. Brandon Pfaadt gave up 3 home runs. Great.
Back to back to back.
Oh, is that how that went down?
Yeah, all of them came in the 5th.
Wow. Torres, Green, and McKinstry all hit home runs. 2 of them were 2-run home runs. So 3 home runs led to 6 runs. Or 5 at least. 5 runs. But they got 6 runs in the inning because there were other hits and other runs scored. Not good. Not good there. A 6-run 5th inning, and the Diamondbacks now trail 9-2 to the Detroit Tigers as it has not been a good road trip. They are now 5 games under 500, and they are slowly but surely slipping out of the race. Their best trade piece got hit on the hand again. It's that kind of week.
We just heard Zach Gelb, speaking of Major League Baseball, we just heard Zach Gelb talk about the little dust-up between the commissioner.
Yeah, and Bryce Harper.
Right, and this is about salary cap, which has been a contentious thing for a while. We're talking 84, right, which is a breakout from Ryan Sandberg. Do you know who the highest-paid baseball player was in 84?
1984, the highest-paid baseball player?
I think he was the number 1 pick, if memory serves.
Wow, the number 1 Mattingly?
Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt.
Yeah, so Mike Schmidt made just under $2 million. Do you know how much the highest paid baseball player in 2025 makes? $62 million a year, DK. So yeah, we don't need a salary cap.
No. I don't know about that. That's why I have been saying forever that baseball needs a salary cap. I was one of the few people, I think it was 2004, whenever they had the last work stoppage or lockout. I wanted the owners to shut down the game to get a salary cap, but they wouldn't do it.
I want the NIL. I want college players to be able to receive money based on their name, image, and likeness. I'd like the best players in every major league, every single professional sports league across Northern America to make as much money as humanly possible. I'm for the athletes. That being said, when you have a team like the Dodgers spending 10 times as much as some other franchises, I think that's the big problem I have with it. And the individual salaries are just a result of the free agency, right? And how much a person's worth on the open market. We know how those escalating salaries work, but I had to look it up because we were talking a lot about 1984 and Ryan Sandberg. Just under $2 million was the highest paid player then, and $62 million for Juan Soto this year.
We talked yesterday a lot about the labor situation in the WNBA. Lynn Altieri chimed in after the show. If you missed that, head on over to our Twitter account, Wildcats Radio, at Wildcats 1290 on Twitter, and you can see our comments there. They're also on my Twitter page at David Kelly 1290, and not only just what I think needs to happen in the WNBA, but how it all relates to Arizona athletics on both the men's and women's sports sides. We had a number of people chime in, including our friend Kim Das. I'll read Lynn Altieri's comment. He says, the WNBA is a bunch of bitter, hate-raged women. Their brand of physical basketball is unwatchable. The WNBA is basically a Greco-Roman wrestling match on hardwood. They need to fire their referees and their entire marketing staff. The public can't name 4 players in the WNBA. I would disagree with that last part. I think the public can name probably way more than 4 players.
I will say this. I think a lot of that has to do with Angel Reese because she shoots 30% from the field. If you've seen video images of her layup package, DK, it's been all over the internet for the last couple of years. However, she's leading the WNBA in rebounding by 2 or 3 per game. And they're trying to make it a whole rivalry based on the LSU and Iowa thing with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark is Steph Curry. Okay. Angel Reese is Dennis Rodman. Literally. Like, she's a really, 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 really good rebounder, the best in the league. So as far as that perspective that it's just a bunch of bully, physicality, I think a lot of people are under the impression that the refs and the league office need to really rein in and figure out how to referee these games so it doesn't look like that. But when you're trying to not trying, they are. You know how many Angel Reese headlines I see daily? Every time something happens, it's an Angel Reese headline.
Yeah.
They're definitely doing a lot of marketing to try to bring her to the forefront, but that's literally marketing Dennis Rodman versus Steph Curry, DK. So I think that there's so many skilled players in the WNBA. I just think there's a lot of positivity, but people run with the negativity online. What else is new?
In response to my comments yesterday about how I don't believe that they're on any planet that Tommy Lloyd should be making $5 million more than the women's basketball coach at the University of Arizona. Our friend Kim Das, who we have on the program frequently, checks in. She says, frankly, I think coaching salaries are ridiculous across the board, but I find it obscene that certain local men only feel that way about female coaches. The male coaching salaries need to be brought down closer to the women's salaries. Agreement there. There are people in our local media, we won't name those people, but we know who they are, who are eager to vilify accomplished female coaches who make too much, but not less accomplished male coaches making much more and getting almost yearly increases. It's vile, and I have no respect for those media members. I don't either, Kim.
I think the consensus, DK, is having your state's highest paid employee in every single state being a coach, right? And that's the situation that we look at. So that's one way to look at it. And again, what did we just say about the escalating salaries in Major League Baseball over the past 40, 30 years? It's because when the open market is willing to offer you more, they're giving Coach Lloyd or refreshing his contract. They can only do 5 years, right? Whatever they possibly can, because somebody else will pay him that money. Right? And it's the situation like that. So when you're in demand, it's just like the open market. When you're in demand, you're going to have your salary increase like that. And obviously, we don't have enough time left in the show to talk about salary discrepancies. But yeah.
But we've got more shows tomorrow, so we can do it tomorrow. Time now for your Desert Diamond Casino replay. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. Brent Brennan today, I asked him, Keyan Burnett left you? Came back to you? Can he come back in and be tight end number 1 after leaving in the spring? I asked the coach his opinion on all of that.
There's 6 questions in there, so I'll try and answer each one. Okay. First of all, when Keyan told me that he was interested in exploring that, I was respectful of it. I think it's important that I'm respectful of that. It's their option to do it. And so if I'm a jerk, there's no way we're getting him back. Right? If I handle that moment poorly, there's no way he's going to want to come back and play for a team that I'm the head coach of. Right? I love Keyan. I told him that when I said, I'm sad you're leaving. I love you. And if things change, let us know. And things changed, and we had a chance for him to come back to us. Right? And I think the cool thing about that is at the end of the day, he chose the University of Arizona, and he chose the players and the coaches in this program. He chose that because he believes in that. He missed that. He missed how that felt. He missed what that experience had been for him. And that's why he chose to come back. Now, does he walk back in the door, tight end 1? Like, probably not at the start of spring practice, right? Because there's other players there that are making really great, that were making really great progress, I'm sorry, at the start of fall practice. But is he going to be in the mix? Is he going to be at the front of the line? Sure. And that's one of those positions where the competition is going to be fierce because there's some players in there. Tyler Powell's made a great move this offseason, really impressive move, right? And then we know Sam Olsen is a productive player, right? So we know that there's good stuff there. And then we know there's some young players stepping in there. We want to see what he can do too. So it's good. That's going to be a lot of fun.
And some of these veteran offensive linemen you've been able to add, like DeCamber, like Bounds, like Buchanan, do you find it easier maybe to get experienced linemen in the portal than maybe it was before?
No, it's our general manager's back there. He's laughing right now at my answer to that question. I would say outside of quarterback, offensive line is the hardest position to recruit out of the portal. It is the hardest one. It has the most competition. It is the most intense. The hard part about it is for some people, like the guys you mentioned, we're recruiting them to come in here and compete for a starting job right now. A lot of the young men that are entering the portal as an offensive lineman, they don't know that they're getting recruited to another school to go be a backup. They don't know that because, someone on the other side of that equation is not telling them the truth, right? But those guys, we're expecting them to compete for a job.
That is Brent Brennan. It's your Desert Diamond Casino replay. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. We'll have more from Media Day today, tomorrow, and 9:45. The pads start crunching over at the Jim Thome Fields. Looking forward to practice number 1 of fall camp tomorrow. We will be out there. We'll have a full report for you coming up tomorrow right here. DK on the Sports Tip at 3 o'clock. We will also hear from our conversation with Noah Fafita, the quarterback of your Arizona Wildcats. We'll have that coming up for you tomorrow as well.
Glenn will be down there.
Oh, I'm sure he will be. We are exact. Tomorrow will be 1 month from the first game. So there you go. 30th of July, 30th of August. It all starts for real. As Alonzo Carter kept saying, come to fall camp. He kept saying that. Come to fall camp. I want you to see what we got. Come to fall camp and come on August 30th when we play Hawaii. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
11-2.
11-2. That's your Diamondbacks, final Diamondbacks download for tonight. Thanks to Ishmael Made for sitting and chatting, Josh Miller, all the folks over at Media Day today. For Dragon Ball, for Cricket Who's on Vacation, for J.W. Madden. Thanks to Priscilla as well for the work she did out there at Media Day. My name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow. DK on the Sports Tip, 3 o'clock right here. Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. We have a crash over at East Grant Road and North Craycroft Road. Major slowing in all 4 directions you get to the intersection. Euclid Avenue shutting down for the night from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. This is south of Speedway Boulevard. This work should be done by Friday. Your weather looking at about 103 degrees currently. Will be down all the way to 93 tonight here once we get to 9 p.m. I'm Dragon Ball with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
There are many reasons you might need Dorado Rockin' Materials. A few bare spots in the yard. The driveway needs filling in. Or it could be that the yard needs a whole makeover. Whatever the reason, if your yard has the summertime blues, Dorado Rockin' Materials has everything from sand to boulders and every rock and pebble in between. If you need help spreading it, we have options for that too. Call 400-4233. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Nobody covers your Cats like we do. With press conferences, coaches shows, and play-by-play.
Bounce pass, a walk, a slam it home.
We bring you all the stories, highlights, and analysis of your Arizona Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-830-4914. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-830-4914. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-830-4914. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-830-4914. That's 800-830-4914.
O'Reilly. Save money on your next full synthetic oil change at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $35.95. We can recommend all the oil change supplies you need. Shop your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Arizona's free safety position has a new name, the Bear.
A little ferocious name.
But it's going to be intercepted by Arizona. Genesis Smith.
Bear down with Genesis Smith and the Cats all season long. Right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, we offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options to cover your small business needs and more. Visit progressive.com today.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media station, your home for the National Football League, starting with the Hall of Fame game through the regular season into the playoffs and ending in the Super Bowl. Wildcats Radio, 1290.